What's going on, guys? We're gonna get this started any way that it can get started. This is PSy TAi POdcast number 93. Yeah, 93, not 92. Thanks for coming on by. This just Thai, T-A-I, not T-H-I, like the food. Y'all know what it is. Combine your mind with your heart. See what your gut mind is saying. Let all them circles come out. Let them do what they do. It's a somber morning, but at least I got some good exercise in. Got the morning jog in. About 1.3 miles, getting better. Was at like 1.1, and point two probably don't seem like a difference, but it is when you out there trying to breathe and not hold your breath and get everything channeling right. And breath work control is getting very good. But before I get into anything, I want to play a song by my bro Tai'ers. Shouts out to Tai'ers. I knew him since I was a teenager. He makes a lot of makes hip hop music out in LA. But shout outs to Philly, where we from, and he's really making a lot of moves. I'm gonna play a song called Projects, and I wanted to play this because I grew up in the projects. He didn't grow up in the projects, but like 10 blocks away. But it's still the same atmosphere, and this song is still coolly relevant. So without further ado, let's play Tai'ers by Lee.
It's Young Ali, PA shit. I know what it is. Yeah. Keystone. Grumble on the beat. It's not every day you make it out this motherfucker. Real hustlers paid dues when they came to my set. Nigga, you could lose your life for that chain on your neck. In the environment I rap, my only aim was success. Staying patient every day on these steps. Try and risk it all. Always knew this shit would be bigger back when the kid was small. We was young, we ain't had nothing, was down to risk it all. You ratting on your bros, they ain't really real. Screaming free my dogs out the system, I hope they get a pill. Had to hustle, really got it from the muscle. They gon' love you when you up, when you down they saying fuck you. So I'm rolling one by myself, only smoking top shelf. Cool 6 for the kicks, I ain't nothing like the rest. Young golly, something like a vet. These niggas dropping songs, but I'm not impressed. Kush be my cologne, money on the phone. Ali and Grumble, you know what we I got on. Weed in my blunt, paper in my pocket. Came from the dirt, we them young niggas that got it high tech in my cup. You would do the same shit, cause it's not every day that you make it out the projects. Weed in my blunt, paper in my pocket. Came from the dirt, we them young niggas that got it high tech in my cup. You would do the same shit, cause it's not every day that you make it out the projects. It's not every day that you get in my position, so don't take nothing for granted, gotta focus on the mission. Riding and I'm smoking, I've been pulling up prescriptions. No matter where I'm at, I'm still working. She said I'm so
just got
fly,
finished
write
sharing
my
the page
name in the
around.
sky. I heard you ain't got it, boy, you just getting by. Gotta move silent, boy.
Make sure y'all do the same.
Job. Never switch up on your squad. We grinding to survive. Only smoking cookies, we ain't running out of propane. Nothing in the sun, just get money, stay in your lane. When I was a youngin', I was thuggin', they had no name, barely had no money. See my cousin selling cocaine, so I dropped out and locked.
Make sure y'all alright, having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time is coming at y'all.
Spending all these thousands. Remember, I was living at the bottom, nigga. Now I got weed in my blunt, paper in my pocket. Came from the dirt, we them young niggas that got it high tech in my cup. You would do the same shit, cause it's not every day that you make it out the projects. Weed in my blunt, paper in my pocket. Came from the dirt, we them young niggas that got it high tech in my cup. You would do the same shit, cause it's not every day that you make it out the projects.
All right, check them out. That was Tai'ers and Gamble, still smoking. Nice sample, nice production, and everything that was put into this. I'm probably gonna be working on a music video for him as well, an animation. Keep fingers crossed. He was the one that hit me up, so it's all up to them. What's going on? But yep, we're here today. Remember, plug into the Discord. It's always going to be open. If y'all want to tie on with me and talk about what's going on with y'all day, anything that y'all did or seen or anything like that. Over here in Chico, the weather is really on blast. It was 108 degrees yesterday. I never experienced that, at least looking at it, because I just got used to looking at what the meteorologists say the weather is and stuff like that instead of going off my own feelings. But yeah, it was 108. It's supposed to pick back up like that again today, and it was cool. I went for a nice walk. Went for like a 4 mile walk. It was 2 miles there, 2 miles back. And it was like when it was picking up, the heat of the day around here is like 3 o'clock. And I used to always think it was 12 o'clock, hottest part of the day all the time. It's really 3 o'clock around here. I was walking the heat of that, got some nice sweat. I was like being in the sauna, good for my pores and just for my mental. Seeing that I can do way more than what I think about, what I think that I'm comfortable with. Making myself uncomfortable with hot things that's on fire, things that pushes me literally to be like, why am I doing this? Or, all right, we just got to get this and get past all of them whys, and the satisfaction at the end is going to be worthwhile. That's what I've been getting into, training my brain to, this is the title of a YouTube video I saw too, but I'm training my brain to do things, to enjoy doing harder things, to enjoy doing more difficult and challenging things, and not just get those quick dopamine supply hits from Facebooks and likes, or even from just watching TV, or trying not going on runs, not exercising and stuff like that. Just things that don't have you think too much or do too much. That's a huge bubble that I see a lot of people get caught up in. I've been working on getting myself out this bubble ever since the mushrooms told me to, and it was like, yo, this body that you in, you gotta buff it up, you gotta build the stamina up, and I felt weak. Like I need to, in order for my full spirit to really thrive through my experiences here, I had to strengthen up my body, do some push-ups, like to catch up with my mentality. And exercising and stuff is real awesome because it relaxes me. Like your endorphins and your heart rate get pushed up to a certain level. So it's not like you looking for drama throughout your day or trying to cause excitement in order to get your heart paced. Because we love those hits. All them hits really mean something to us. Our body is a walking chemical concoction of things always interacting with each other, and based off of our moods, based off of how we're moving around and stuff like that, and what we're eating. And like when I say move, it's like if we're running and stuff, your mental is in there, your heart is pumping, you start experiencing different things. You get the runner's high, like that's what they call it, a runner's high. Get the exercise high, get the yoga high, just from doing something. I think like once I get into something, I like to really feel like I'm dead at the end. Like I don't like to feel like, whew, yeah, well, what's next? I can still run. Like if I'm running and I started jogging in the morning, like I mentioned earlier, and if I feel like I still got more energy, even though I completed the laps, I'm gonna keep on going. I'm like, all right, let's keep on going. I'm not gonna do another whole lap, but today I just ran a little bit past the mark, and then I just made another loop around some apartments, and then I made it back, and I was like, all right, there goes the satisfaction. There goes the satisfaction. Because we carry a lot of anxiety on our mind for reasons. Like I said, we want that sense of adventure. We want to feel something. We want to feel alive and feel like we're high energy. Like we don't want to feel like we leaving it up to, I don't like to feel like I'm leaving it to everybody else to do all the high energy work, and then I'm just like, yeah, I used to be like that, or I'll do it next week. Yeah, I'm gonna start exercising. Because then I started tying onto myself about the years when I start getting older and everything. And it's all that the mushrooms get me real content with. Like even with the microdosing that I've been heavily involved with. It keeps my mind state in a mind where I don't want to feel down. Like I don't feel a reason to feel down, because it's so much to do. It's so much that I've woken up and tied with y'all, and y'all tied with me and told me things that's really beneficial to keeping your center, wherever that center is, on whatever circle in the flower of life, like wherever it is. And I think pushing myself to do dangerous things like skateboarding and stuff. And even like, I want to push it farther. I want to start going skydiving and things like that. So to really like push myself, push my limits, look over cliffs. That's why I like looking at people that do parkour and things like that. I do a little parkour, but like I said, got to build my body and muscles up there so I can really get into the attitude of parkouring, or else I'll just be breaking something or falling the wrong way. But move the body. The body is a real cool, taking care of the body is a real cool grounding technique for me. Like my mind can be really out there in other dimensions, which they're always going to be, and things like that, and imaginations. But keep myself working out, and it keeps me grounded, and satisfied, because my mind is racing on different things, and then I learn. Then like if I'm running, I just started having music when I'm running, but I like to just focus on the breathing and. What was I even tying on? To focus on the breathing and do things. Just getting through it. Feeling like I want to stop. And then like, no. You got to keep going. You got to keep it up. Whatever drive that is, it's very, very human. I think they, in movies, that will pop up as saying like the human soul loves to persevere and doesn't give up and stuff. But we have to push ourselves to that. Or else I think that's how depression seeks in. And I think it has to do with literally not doing nothing, and literally like seeing what your neurochemistry is going on. I got a documentary going on right now in the living room. It was talking about the brain. I didn't get to listen to it myself all the way, but I heard little parts, and they was talking about like even with omega-3 fat acids that come from fish, and talking about diet and things like that. And just being aware of what you're eating, not staying away from certain, I will never eat that, like, oh man, no, but paying attention to what you actually do choose to eat, like looking out for other things to eat, like bringing it into your circle, because omega-3 fatty acids, when it comes to brain, I remember when I was still like heavily vegan and stuff, and I was just starting to like taste fish and stuff, and the person at the market was like, and I was just telling the lady at the store my story and stuff. She's like, oh, I'm glad you're getting this, gonna help your brain. So then I did more research, and documentary just reminded me, that's why it's on the forefront of my mind now, that your brain is like 70% fat. And the omega-3 acids really go like help your brain, like they contribute to that. So just like our brain is about 60% water or something, what is that? Water, body, how much? And then let's do this. Yeah, up to 60% of the adult body is water. So I've been drinking so much water. I've been getting way into the habit of that. Even if I gotta use the bathroom 17 times a day, like that meme said. Where's that meme at? That last episode I was in. Y'all saw me having to keep using the bathroom because I was drinking a whole bunch of water. And then I ran across this awesome meme. It says me walking to the toilet for my 17th piss today. Oh, enlarging the wrong thing. There we go. But yeah, it's just a quick meme. The consequence is worth it. Because, I mean, of using the bathroom, that's the consequence. But the beneficial factors of drinking a bunch of water is worth it. To me. Like, I have more energy of the day, throughout the day. And even, I think more. I feel like I want to always do something. And as well as I said, 60%. So if you're sweating, and dehydration is a real thing. I've been dehydrated in my life before. Where I had to really I felt like I was going to collapse, and I actually did kind of collapse. From trying to push myself from either skateboarding and things like that in the sun as a teenager, or literally just not drinking water because I didn't feel as though I needed it. And when you're on a psychedelic trip, You really see why. You really, when you got water and when you don't got water, you feel the difference in the mental state of your, and the comfortability of your mental state of what's going on. That's why the best thing that you hear from folks from Psychonauts is stay hydrated, stay hydrated. Oh, you got tabs, stay hydrated. Drink, so keep that water on your side, because you're going to feel like you don't need it. But then once you do drink it, you feel that rush, and the sensor just go all through your arms and your legs, and you get that sigh of relief. Just imagine being relieved in that state all the time. A lot of our senses that I'm in tune with, and that deep meditations put you in tune with, that other people are naturally in tune with from birth, and other people come into that experience from psychedelics, is that it's another layer of feeling and control over the body and what's going on, the mechanisms that's controlling your heart rate, how fast your heart is beating, how much you sweating, how fast your thoughts are coming at you, how much you paying attention, how much water in your body, if you need to eat more fruits, or you just start getting all these other attentions of things that's needed for your body to operate at an optimal rate, which is ideal to your personal experience. Like, that's the awesome thing about it. It's not like, yeah, you saw this person do that, now you gotta do it too. It's like, you probably seen this and this, now let's remix it. You feel that arm, you see how that arm don't stretch like the other one stretch. So when you in your yoga now, you can pay more attention to this shoulder. Like, that's what it was showing me. Like, when I raise my arms like this, and there's certain things like this shoulder go all the way back like this, but this one really don't. But I didn't really notice that till I was on a trip stretching. I was like, yo, what's going on? So now, like, I work on this elbow, which is really weird. It's like, it's because of the way I sleep or something, but I'm not too concerned about that. Just the results. You just never know when, even on a earthly basis, you never know when it's going to come in handy, taking care of your body and your brain and everything, because it's conducted to how you learn and your mentality and like how you approach things, or do you have an attitude about things. It's all about what's going on with your body, your exercise. I know with me it is when I'm in a certain state, I'm able to produce more. Like, I'm always still living, I'm always able to put a smile on my face, but I'm able to produce more creative things that's original, that's from the outer space, instead of me trying to just take care of business and take care of a worry or something like that. It's just more of a flow. Like, now, oh, I gotta clean. Like, if I'm exercising and then clean the house, it's just I'm flowing, thinking about stories in my mind and stuff like that. I can't even remember sometimes when it's done, and I'm just sweeping or mopping and things like that. But if I do it before exercising or a meditation or something like that, I'm like, all right, gotta get this clean. Oh man, I really don't want. All right, let's just get through this. We're gonna do it. All right, it's clean. That looks good. All right. Like, none of that busyness goes on. It's just like, all right, I want to clean because I want to clean house, and it's all right. I got other things to focus on. Like I said, the stories or a song, or I'll play a podcast, and just be a groovy day, as Shaggy would say. And not just waking up and getting on the news or stuff like that, and turning on the news trying to figure out what's going on with the day. Because for my life, the day is already started as soon as I wake up, because I'll be trying to remember my dreams so much, and I need to start writing them down. I think that's going to make my eye in this universe here, like, try to really grasp it more. But when I wake up, I be like, my dreams, I do things in my dreams so intricate as much as here, that when I wake up, I feel like I'm here as soon as I know that I have to do something. Like, I gotta brush my teeth, or or something. Like, a thought will come on my mind, and I will feel myself literally warp into this reality, and it's like, all right, that's the news for the day, or something like that. And then I feel everything in the first half hour or something contributing to the rest of the day, like it's setting the stage. Like, I just wake up, and Like, imagine waking up and I just hear, oh, somebody got shot. It's like, ah, man, that's the world today. That's what I got to deal with. But you know, people getting shot, but that's just not what you're waking up to if I don't just put it on. So I'm just waking up to what I need to focus on so I can be prepared for the world. Like, brush my teeth and stuff like that and wash my face. Just be content and get a couple breaths in before I'm just like thrown back on the roller coaster. Like, walk around the park of the circus for a bit. See the sights before I'm just like, all right, buckle up. It feels cool not waking up in a rut, as I would say. Because I used to wake up in a lot of ruts. And waking up out of nightmares and trying to smoke my way into a happy vibe. Like, I just need to smoke. Like, I just want to hear smoke. Just sit here, play YouTube real quick. I don't want to do nothing else. Then I'll be all right once I get the smoke in. But that's what I was completely telling myself. So it was working, but I wasn't really getting anything else out of it but the mental pleasures. I wasn't getting like, oh, well, I actually completed something with my day that's going to then carry on to the next day, like build a skill out. As I mentioned before, running is very cool. It's very cool because the first 3 days was so different than the next 4 days. Like, it was the way I was breathing, just the way the body is able to learn new things when it comes to exercising. I first encountered this when I was going to the gym, but then I stopped going. But yeah, that feeling of lifting more, adding another 5 pounds, or even getting through a certain amount of reps and being like, pushing, like, all right, I'm not done, one more. And then you hear that clink fall down. Like, so I used to not want to work out because I used to see it as like a macho man kind of thing. Like, man, what's the point of that? They're not thinking enough. You just need to think. All this physical stuff is worthless. Like, blah, 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 blah. I was like the nerds and the jocks. I always seen it like that. But if you really want to tie, you got to combine everything. And like I said, the psychedelics, because it's a psychedelic channel, so I'm going to keep mentioning that. They really put me into gear, like made me aware of things that needed to be handled on the physical plane. By using my newfound mentality. The mentality wasn't there. It was searching, it was seeing it in movies and stuff like that. But for me, it's just something about doing it for myself. Like, a fat person probably get off, well, a big person probably get off, like creating a character and like, oh yeah, this character on the game and stuff is good enough for me. Then he finds happiness in that. And hey, that's how the mental works. So, but my character, I want to make my character look a little bit like how I will shape my character up on the video game. And yeah, guys, I'm just tying. Letting whatever come out, come on out. 10:44. Waiting for my daughter to still kind of wake up. It's cool that everybody is... not cool. The story for me is cool that a lot of people get into homeschooling and everything because of the COVID-19 and it being like a kind of forced thing to get into. Whether a lot of parents enjoy it or not. But I started homeschooling when I moved to California, and that was kind of my vision, that I wanted my daughter to be homeschooled. And then she is part of a program where she could still see kids and meet up with them at times and stuff like that. But it's like I'm just ahead of the forefront. I'm just proud of myself for being like that, like moving with the vision. Because it wasn't done around me. It wasn't influenced or like wasn't encouraged around me growing up or anything. It was just the idea that me and my spouse had, that we just wanted to do this thing. And now you can't even get into the program that she's in. That was the other thing. The program that she's into now, you can't get into because there's no funding. Even though COVID and stuff happened. So now you gotta like be part of public school and then get the Chromebook that's hopefully not hacked and they watching your kids and stuff. And then you can do school that way. Hey, I seen in Discord, hey, Wild Man Ninja. If you there. All right, so what's going on in the...
Hey, Ty, I'm just at work, so I was just listening.
Hey, bro. Have a good one
Yeah,
at work.
Thanks, man. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Yeah, it is a good day. I was thinking about my sister. My sister's birthday was a couple days ago, and how I want to see my family and stuff like that. So I created a Discord server for me and my brother to tie on and just post videos and memes and stuff, like our own personal social network. Because technology is going to be the thing that keeps us all connected. And that was the thing Duncan Trussell was trying to get Joe Rogan to tie on. Because Joe Rogan wanted Duncan Trussell to move to Texas with him. And he was like, no, I want to stay here where I'm at, and we can do the podcast through Zoom, or I can fly down when you need me and stuff to do the podcast, and we can do it once a week. But his point was that he didn't really want to talk about it on the show for some reason. But he wanted to show how we could all be connected without actually being in the same physical space. And I think that is an art form. In my own time view, it is an art form that's being displayed, because that's what's being displayed right now in the PSy TAi podcast. People that never met each other physically, but feel like we're all right now in the same room. The same room, just vibing out. So that feeling of location doesn't matter is a real thing. It's a real thing on a lot of planes when you're dealing with astral projection and a lot of powers that we're going to be coming in contact with. But this technology that we have readily available makes it possible. And I was watching The Proud Family yesterday, and I was cracking up because she was on the computer, and that was the only way they was able to FaceTime back in the day. But nowadays, we able to FaceTime just on the phone and stuff like that with low latency issues. You can see what's going on the other side. And then imagine when they get, they really do have it. I just can't get to work on my computer for some reason, where you could do 360 video chatting and stuff like that. So, and then hologram 360 chat, where you can create a hologram of the other person inside of the other person's room, so they can like pop up and you look over and in your chair because you got on the glasses and you can see them, and they got a cameras around them that's reading all of their data. Oh, it's good times ahead. Where's that book? Let's see, Google Books that Piano Key sent me that I read. I've been seeing True Life. Check out True Life channel. No, I guess it's not even on True Life channel. It's on his Booker Woods channel. He's been uploading chapters of this book, The Gods, Wars, and The Secret Machines by Tom DeLonge. Trying to see if I can find my copy of it. I think he sent it to the Just Todd Now line. That's why I don't see it. No, not apps. Go back. I never used this that much before. $4 credit. My books. Let me show y'all what I'm working on. 0. There it is. Okay. So let me switch the screen over. Chrome. I just want to scroll through this book. And if Piano Key you there, you're going to pop on and tie on it, let me know. Alright, here goes some pictures, the cults of the gods. What was this chapter on? Noted that their focus, yet the evidence of another type is overlooked even by the most vocal proponents of the ancient alien. That is that the evidence of a deeper connection between human beings and non-human intelligence than can be found in anomalies of architecture, even in myths themselves. Yeah, this was a real dense book. I'm trying to see if I can actually just jump into it and see something about it. But this chapter was talking about how the gods and stuff created, like they said, the Aztecs believed that humans were created by gods as workers and as playthings, as toys. They believed that human beings contained the blood of the gods, bloods that was mixed with base material in a clay vessel. This is similar to the Sumerian content. So this one was talking about how, yeah, we was created and stuff like that. And a bunch of visions going through my head of psychedelic experiences that people have, where they see that they're nothing but everything, and how they're like nothing. When people say we're nothing but the ego and stuff, and how people say you can't kill the ego, like that's all that we are and everything. Like it comes into play when you look at how our ancestors or other versions of ourselves have looked at the people that so-called created us, the gods or the developers of the virtual reality program. It's like we really are in a video game with all these downloadable contents and experiences going on, and it's really like a plaything, like I said, toys, like we're nothing but toys. And to a lot of people that come off hard because we think that as humans that we run everything, like we run the earth. Like even on the scale of not even comparing ourselves to humans, but that any of this is really like the most, it's valuable, it's lovely, but I'm going into the madness right now, so it's not going to make a lot of sense to people. It's not going to seem all lovey-dovey to people, but it really is love found in there. It really is love. Like it really is love in the darkness that lies within all of us, because the dark is close. Who's on the door? The darkness is closer to truth. I mean, not closer to truth, it's just the other side of truth. Like where there's dark, there's light. Where there's light, there's dark. How can you have light without the dark? How can you have dark without the light? Or else it wouldn't have these terms of separation in the first place. But what I mean by the dark is that thing that we really don't exist. That we really don't exist here, and that our existence that is here is like, what is free will? Like that, you hear that debate a lot amongst the old philosophers and people today still. Like, what is free will? Do we have free will, or is everything written out and then we act out that script? And our thoughts and emotions and everything about even feeling like we're changing things is just part of the picture. It's part of the whole picture. And that all of that is just all part of the script. Yeah, like I said, part of the script that was written. Like, what is, or is that what's happening? Is that free? What is free will? And in my experiences, like what Tai will put on it, how Tai will lay on the fence, it's just like how I put it. I guess I was giving my opinion. Is that and I think everything was written already, but it was written in the most beautiful way that it allows us to feel like we have free choice. Like that's how beautiful it is. It was so beautifully written. As like you're gonna feel emotions. You're gonna feel love, heartbreak. You're gonna fight for change. You're gonna think that change is just inevitable. You're gonna sometimes say it is what it is, and it's gonna always be a current of emotion flowing through some kind of channel. Like that's what the mushroom showed me. Let's put it like that. That's what this mushroom showed me, is that it was written. It was already written, and we playing it out in the most beautifulest ways. But it's really as playthings, and of us up there, or there's somewhere up there, is just playing, laughing, giggling, having a good time. Our family that's up there, and it's family too. Like we think that when we die and we're gonna be running to all these people that forgot us and stuff, but the religious folks kind of got it. And like, I'm gonna meet my family, I meet my grandmom and stuff like that. But I think it's like that because they met people, and the human language said it like that. So the vision is like that, it could be like that, but as well as the beings that we saw too, that's not even like in human form. So that meme in the last one said, title screens, that our interdimensional loved ones are really there to say hi and what's up. And it's just like sometimes like you want to go play this game, or you still are playing the game and you still there at the same time. Man. Yeah. And what that Tom DeLonge said. He said, "It is important to understand that the concept of a divine creation of human is an almost universal idea. That is not something we should expect as a normal human understanding of the world of their origins. It is something that is self-evident, not even in a purely religious or spiritual contents. Why do humans conceive of their own creation as happening because of a god or gods? Essentially, as the Gnostics understood it, alien beings, deciding to extend themselves this way. Like, why do the gods or the people above show themselves in the way that they do? It could just be to showcase a form of beauty that's unimaginable, unintelligible, uneffable to words. And just so for that experience to happen. How I get to the next page? What is about DNA? Many people lead the motifs of the voodoo doll. This is when they was talking about voodoo dolls and everything, and the importance of blood to the cultures in the South American cultures and stuff as well. Let me see. The stories of how humans and gods were conceived share something in common across conception rarely occurs in a way in which humans are familiar. There's always an understanding that conception involves the divine, whether gods or of humans, was not the result of normal sexual intercourse. Such as Chemala became pregnant with Quetzalcoatl by eating jade, so did the wife of the Indian god Shiva become pregnant by receiving Shiva's seed either in her mouth or her hand. Even Mary, the mother of Jesus, became pregnant while she was still a virgin, and her conception was announced to her by an angel. To the Aztecs, jade was symbolic significance. It was used as an infusium for blood as well as for the heart. In children, it is believed that their blood and their hearts were still green, and often the word jade is used to refer to this unripe and therefore pure status. The divine energy was thus much alive and strong in children. As people became older, the divine energy became snarled and twisted in their bodies, entrapping the god within. The only way to release that imprisoned deity was through sacrifice, and the best mode of sacrifice was one in which the spirit was wrenched free of the body. And this was what the Aztecs was doing. Like the Gnostics, the Aztecs believed that matter was the prison of spirit. Unlike the Gnostics, the Aztecs believed that the best way to free the spirit was to destroy the material basis in which it was trapped. One could say they took the Gnostics' attitude to a logical conclusion. Like they took it logically, like literally, like we had to literally see the blood and everything. But then they talk about later how the Chinese, they was dealing with blood and everything too, but they didn't feel the need to actually sacrifice a person to achieve immortality or to go to these other realms and to give honor and just due. But they did talk about bloodlines, and they tried to preserve the bloodlines of the royals in certain ways so that they stayed fresh, and they said that they were different than the others. So it's this thing about blood and DNA that was being tied about a lot in this chapter. A lot, because they saw it as something divine, something that had a essence that was able to warp reality and change things around for their benefit and experience, or to connect to the gods and stuff. So I'm seeing this now too as important, because the DNA, as we see, as I was talking about before, when it comes to health, when it comes to ingesting psilocybin mushrooms, when it comes to doing what we know on Earth as the Wim Hof breathing methods or deep breathing techniques in the yogic practices. just talk about deep breath, and I'm like, I'm holding my breath a little too much. But and messing with your blood oxygen levels. That's how David Blaine was able to go into experience what keeping his body in 1 degree Fahrenheit, which is really, really cold, with no gear, no protection or anything. And it was because of how he was breathing and his practices and how his diet and everything, and how now his blood is different, is oxygenated different, so he's able to do different things. And as well, the DNA and everything with DMT and the serotonin receptors, which is already like and the tryptophan and the serotonin, which is very similar in the base and the way that it's structured chemically to psilocybin and DMT. Serotonin, DMT, tryptophan. Here it is. Biosensors of serotonin and DMT from tryptophan. And tryptophan is naturally in your body. It's already in there. So now it's these, and so if you're messing with that and changing around through plants that contain DMT, which have been around for years, like as long as we've been around, just in different kind of plants that we probably forgot about, or different cultures like put under, hey, good morning, put under different names and stuff so that you wouldn't really know what they was talking about. Kiss. Ready for work today? Some school work? No, wait till 12 o'clock. You can do some work in the morning, baby. Love you. I'm almost done. It's not gonna be extra long. Oh, I didn't see the chat right there. My bad, guys. I had the screen a little too far over. Hey, Exile. True posted the audio files, too. Hey, Sahi Haho. Tuning in. Here it goes. Here goes what I was talking about the neurotransmitters in our brain. Trying to find a clear picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here it goes. So I can see a visual. So you got the serotonin. Need to buffer out a bit. Got the psilocybin and DMT and LSD. So if they was trying to work this blood technology in a certain way by manipulating through their feelings or herbs and everything, I think today's focus of what we coming across now that's what's going on. We're trying to recreate this connection with the gods, with the source, or with prime, with the thing that drives us. Like literally the thing that drives us, the controller. Or you hear people saying connecting with my higher self. What's up, Zenmatic? Connecting with the higher self and everything. This is all what it means. This is all like what is going after. Is that back then they was literally had the vision to sacrifice people for that whatever they was going through. And I say they still keeping that up nowadays for whatever reason through the wars that's going on. And just like back then, people happily sign up to be sacrificed because it's for the country. But salute to all the soldiers and everybody that chooses to do what they choose to do. All right, let's go back to secret machines. In a series of peer-reviewed papers and presentations, a New York researcher has proposed that DNA. Let's zoom in. And the thing is, too, that mushrooms show you everything is connected to the divine. Like, everything is connected to source. They just experiencing it in their own way. That's the huge grandioso thing that I enjoy. The example of blood sacrifice is presented practice on a global scale seems to be acknowledged of our in-depthness to an absent creator. This creator desires our blood, or at least this is how we understand it. Yep, how we understand it, how they did it. Our blood is not ours, it belongs to some other entity. Our blood is the divine essence, some specific encoding of our genes trapped within the weak and mortal human body, imprisoned and waiting to be released to go back home. And what was that paragraph that I was reading? I don't know what happened to it. It said something about the New York Times. Then I zoomed in and it was like, adios. Oh, it's changing pages when I do that. All right. Let's keep the podcast live. The details are too complex to motivate. Oh, this was his theory that DNA itself is consciousness. That DNA doesn't mean... Yeah, but that's what he was saying. I don't want to bring everybody backwards. But some people are still trying to say that things produce consciousness, and some people say that things exist in consciousness for those that's new to that concept of things. I take the ride of things exist in consciousness instead of things becoming consciousness as they become more complex systems, as if something that's less complex is not as conscious as something that's more complex. In my book, is you just need the right kind of the eyes to see what how they're actually participating in their reality, because we think everything needs to be anthropomorphized, I think that's the word, into and like say everything needs to have a human way of thinking about things, a human way of doing things, a human way of feeling of things. But it's a lot of different ways of feeling and doing things like that, you know. Alright, I'm trying to find the best way to scroll through here. There goes some cool temples and them sacrificing people. And here goes the god of the Aztecs. Yep. Viracocha, the creator god of the Incas. Oh, Incas, not Inca. He is the god of the sun and storms, and once caused a great flood to destroy humanity. He is depicted wearing the sun as a helmet or a mask around his head and holding thunderbolts, like Marduk in some depictions of Abarask, the Gnostic deity. He does look like Abarask. I'm gonna show you Abarask. He has like chicken legs or something like that. And a Gnostic. Here he is right here. How are you gonna say it come from there? I thought it... Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it was associated with Gnosticism. They trying to say it's Greek and everything. But yeah, let me stay. I'm gonna go into that in a bit. I was reading that because they was talking about how he caused the flood, and how we hear in a lot of other ancient cultures that they, how things was flooded, like the Epic of Gilgamesh and Noah in the Bible. Hello, weak human bodies. We can be so self-depressed. Yeah. I think of consciousness as potentiality. Yeah, what's potential? And then it's like else we see that we tap into that potential and then come back or get back to a baseline and then be like, oh, look what we actually can work our way towards, what's already there. And that's why they was willing to kill each other back then. It's like, yo, man, you are nothing. Like, you ain't worth shit. I mean, you worth shit, but you really not. We just like your spirit. Like, that's what they say about using people. Like, we don't really like you. We just want what's inside of you. But our human bodies, like, that's why I was pointing out all the health things that started off the podcast, Exile, about how mushrooms were showing me you want to embody like all these emotional things, and this big spirit that you have as much here, build up your body, get stronger, literally. Get more flexible, and then the God will be being displayed. Like, that's us. Trying to search for the connection. We are the connection. We are the it. Shout outs to Genesis. Let me see if he put it out there. He always pop in all randomly and then try to give his tidbits of what happened during his trips, and then he pop out for like another couple months. But he had something that, if I can go back, that was real cool. That ties into what I was just saying. Here it is. Discord. Now I understand why it does that. Let's go like this. Okay. He said, just came out of a 7.7 gram trip, after over a year, no psychedelics. Forgot that this is the trip, not the trip itself. We are always chasing things and we don't have, and it leads us to suffering. Being thankful to just appreciate family or loved ones and moments is the experience. We are so concerned trying to imitate others or compete that we forget to just be ourselves and be in the moment. We look for ways to be original and the first to do something when none of us will be the last. Life means nothing if you don't give yourself the life you deserve. No one will give you what you want because you have to create it. You are a sim in a simulation. Do what you want and be free. No one cares what you do. Love yourself and enjoy your life. Life will be so much better when you stop caring about your appearance or relationships to others that don't see your point of view. It doesn't matter if no one believes in you. A dream is only a dream if you don't make it real. That was dope. That was nice. Bro, when you come out of everything feels off. This place, it feels like we're alone in this world sometimes, especially after a trip. Like, we know what's really going on and we want the best for everyone, but the world is the same as it was before you left and came back. Sad, but I know we gotta make it better instead of being sad about it. Yep. Like I said, the darkness ain't really bad. It's just something that we run into, that nihilism feeling that nothing matters. Because that's the truth, but it's a power in that madness when you don't get trapped up in, just like Genesis was saying, just being sad about it. But using that to create, because you can go to that space and become nothing and then be like, oh, it's actually something here, can't explain it. And then you come here and try to do the unexplainable, something that was never done before. Or that you never done before. So shout outs to Genesis. Thanks for sharing. I mean, keep on going through this book a bit. This image shows the voyage of the ancestors of the Aztecs traveling from the legendary island Atzalan with his step-shaped pyramid structure in the center. What is Atzalan? Never heard of that. Aztlan is the name of the mythical homeland of the Aztecs, the ancient Mesoamerican civilization. Yep. According to their According to their origin myth, the Metzika left Atzlan at the behest of their god ruler Zolopech, y'all see that word, to find a new home in the Valley of Mexico, but then they never found that island physically. And it's a lot of things on Earth. There's a lot of things that happen on Earth. In the book that I'm reading, The Magician King, Quentin really wants to go back to Fillory because he's able to go there now. It's a whole book to go through that, how he does it. But it's a book that it's something that used to only exist in a book. So he wants to go back there. He's like, man, I can't stay on Earth. I want to be where the real magic is and stuff like that. But now he's running across these hedge witches that didn't get accepted into the university or the Hogwarts, as you will put it. So they had to learn magic the hard way by finding little cults and people that was doing things, and then they get ranks by getting star tattoos and practice spells they found on the internet. Some of them didn't work, and they just really grinding it out, trying to get things to work. Oh man, I forgot why I was mentioning it. They was dang. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, about the many places that's on Earth. So they was trying to get Quentin to realize that it's a lot of awesome things that's happening on Earth, like it's hidden lands and hidden places and mythical creatures, what people call mythical creatures and stuff, and islands that exist, but you gotta have like a certain eye to really get there, a certain magical essence to yourself to really see it. And you hear a lot about that. Not nothing matters, nothing else matters. Says Exile 13. And nothing else matters. Never care for what they know. Yeah, Metallica. That's my song. I was just listening to a lot of rock music earlier for some reason. Or the island could have been ran over, flooded in the flood. Easily could have been flooded, and that's why nobody could find it. Noah, that's what I want to see, the origin of the name Noah. Let's see something. Nuku meaning repose or rest. It was somebody who was trying to say that Noah was close to the word genes. And they were saying how the story of Noah was all about preserving genes, preserving DNA, and preserving the DNA of a certain race, while all the other races and stuff was wiped out for whatever reason. No. And that's why they said Genesis is like genetics, and that Genesis was all about genetics and the manipulation of the genetics of human beings and stuff like that. I know they're gonna say Genesis means beginnings. Oh, it's actually a book on that. Genesis, Genes, Gnomes, and Evolution. And I think of it like that too, because imagine in a simulation, everything's a fractal of consciousness itself, I think. Hey, Raven Owens, welcome to the PSy TAi Podcast. Two of every type in a craft, says Exile. Yeah, two of every type. Two of every type. And then I was watching a sci-fi movie before where they just straight up just had the genome sequence of all the animals and stuff. Like they ain't even had the animals. They just had the genome from them. Imagine if it was like that. They just took the blood samples and then they had the technology just to recreate the animals that they wanted to recreate back on Earth. But I was tying on it just being like a um a simulation, like how we create how the scientists are creating simulations now, and they put certain restraints and constrictions on the sims that's going on, and then they run the simulation like a million times. You know how we wake up to a lot of deja vu moments, like, oh, we did this before, oh, I did this before, oh, I did this before. like like what was your name? Like Ray Vaughn was saying, everything's a fractal of consciousness. Like everything, like with deja vu, things happen way more, and because those fractals are infinite. It's infinite, and fractals go out into infinity. So imagine how many times our world was reset. Our simulation was reset so that a new thing can be tried, a new restraint can be tried, or a new awakening. Let's add this to it. Let's upload this DLC, downloadable content, to it, so now we can see how they react to this. Or let's write this into the story. Or it was already written, and I just see it as being written because I'm a human right now. Like, it's like binary. If you know the code, you can read your library, says Exile. We have the code of everything else. And that's what we're doing. Going into the DNA. Why is it so dark? I'm trying to work on the lighting without messing up the green screen. I think she took the tree. No, right there. Yeah, going into and resetting it. So imagine if the flood was one of the things that happened. Like when they say the gods came down and stuff like that. Like they wanted to see what happened. They said, all right, we don't want this anymore. So literally what we call the gods. What humans have been calling the gods. I'm still trying to come up with a new word. Like the Egyptians called them the Neteru, I think. That's what let me see if I'm right. Neteru. Egyptian gods. The Neteru. The Neter means divine names and principles, which was wrongly translated as gods, goddesses, as are the many faces and aspects of the one supreme being that created the universe and all that is, the source of all love and oneness, which some call God, creator, creatrix, the universe, or the goddess. Thank you, Google AI. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was just trying to say. And I did say it. I need some more tree. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that name, and the way that we encounter things and label things, I think like that's steps in consciousness is what I'm doing. Is just like being aware of traps, and not traps, but just things that was set out for me, which I see as part of the game. Like with the mushrooms be telling me, it's all part of a mystery. We all trying to still find out what's going on, regardless if we act like we know or don't know, and trying to work our way back up to source, or find our ways to display that source, which in the heart of the artist, to me, always seem like you're trying to get back or recreate that feeling of home, of the home that's not here, my home, but you know where I mean. Being up there in hyperspace. Threshold guardians guard the next level. Yeah, it's a lot of guardians. I be calling them gatekeepers a lot. Like they're not bad and evil, they just there for a certain purpose, certain trial or tribulation that put you out on a quest. Like you got to go out on this quest before you can be allowed to receive this information. Or you can talk slick with them and get your way in through just the way you talk. Yeah, your vibe. It's different strokes for different folks. Some people was born already with a lot of doors open already. Which is one of the interesting things that happen, is that some people are born with a lot of doors open, and then a lot of people are born with, I guess they choose to believe it when they got here. Like they wrote the story where they wasn't going to be as consciously aware of everything that they're doing. And when I mean consciously aware of what they're doing, I'm not saying, oh man, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to make a mistake, or I'm going to overplan the shit out of this so that it don't go wrong. But when you really start understanding what I'm talking about, it will make it won't come off as harshly as I hope is not coming off to some people. But it's just a state that you can't really shake off once you get hip with it. And the only reason I talk about it a lot and analyze it a lot is because I grew up as an analyzer. Well, I became an analyzer and stuff like that. So I know what it is to overthink. And now getting back in the groove of consciousness and knowing that you are always as conscious as you're going to be, and everything is always okay. But it's always these things, these thoughts that come around that's like, hey, it's something more. Something more. It's adventure on this side. And I'm like, oh, it is? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Got my XP up. Got my items ready. Got some experiences under my belt. Let's go. Let's go into the unknown. Let's go. Let's go on another adventure. I'm looking for my lighter. And remember, guys, that's my catchphrase, I guess. And remember, guys, the Discord is always open if one wishes to jump in. On the Exile 13, you said the way we see ourselves affects how we see each other and the environment. When you don't like yourself, everything is hate. When you don't love yourself, nobody loves you. Plain and simple. Just like Exile, just like you said, Exile 13. And we'll spend a lot of time blaming it on others too. Here goes a quote by Edgar Allan Poe. Is out of the Secret Machines of Gods and Wars of Man book. It says, let us now raise famous men. Did I really read that? That's what I saw. The boundaries which divide life from death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins? We know that there are diseases in which occur total cessations of all the apparent functions of vitality, and yet in which these cessations are merely suspensions, properly so called. They are only temporary pauses in the incomprehensible mechanism. A certain period elapses and some unseen mysterious principle again sets in motion the magic pinions in the wizard wheels. The silver cord was not forever loosened, nor the golden bowl irreparably broken. But where meantime was the soul? Where was it? I think it was there all along. The mythology. Huh. I guess this chapter is dealing with a lot about death. Edgar Allan Poe was the deaf Mongol. Deaf Muggle. But here they talking about death and the fear of death and how death can stop you. And I remember this, Mark. They said, and how fear is really one of the marks of religion. Like that's what keep people in religion, like in the organized set of I need to believe it this way, so that when I die, I could be ready. When I die, I'm straight. And when I die, I gotta be ready before I die. I can't do this. I gotta be ready. So it's a lot of things that death has on humans. And Karl Marx right here says could write that religion is the opium of the people. It keeps them docile in the face of state power, certainly, but it also distracts them from the inevitability and total mystery of death, and in many cases motivates them to risk their lives in service to religion or to the state because they assert of life of after death. That, however, is purely materialist point of view. Hey, Exile.
Yo.
yo,
Much
yo.
love. That word was irreparably.
Oh, irreparably?
Yeah.
Irreparably. I only heard that on a documentary.
It's like a point of no return. Like no more, you can't come back from that. Irreparable.
Got it.
Or
Thanks,
irreparably.
bro. Probably helped everybody out on the
For
channel,
sure.
too.
And religion or money or health or education or any time you can see a division, you can put pressure on that division, that separation. And then all kinds of atrocities or music can be created from that division as well. You know, you divide a line in half and play the string, and it's an octave lower than the first string. That's how we get music. So distortions, divisions, separations, this is also how we get humans, but also how we get atrocity as well. And part of us, I think, tends to want to stop these things from happening, like the thing that you wrote in Genesis's testimonial on his trip, how it came back and the world should be like this and we should do this, and it's very admirable and novel to want everybody to do a certain thing, but at some point it's also fascism unless those choices are made for themselves.
It is. Have we seen a lot of I've seen a lot of fascism rise up nowadays, like people trying to make a point.
You got to think this way.
But yeah, but it's to a major extreme where people fighting now. And it's going to be like that, like you said. It's going to cause some fire, some tension, because it's like a breaking point. Like it's the one becomes like scene two, like the splitting of the atom.
Yeah, what are you actually doing? What are you giving your life and breath and thought? What do your thoughts mean? A lot of people are stuck in the first three chakras, red, orange, yellow, and don't get to the universal consciousness of green. They keep cycling in the three and just like, hey, let's see how things affect other people, not just the way I think about things.
I remember running across that when I first was making this channel. I just had a vision of that. Yeah, and this the first three chakras. And yeah, and them all dealing, because you get a strong will dealing with the sacral chakra, like moving up to the stomach and stuff like that. Like you're gonna make moves, you're gonna be sexual, you're gonna have that the chakra that's below that one. What is it? Red, orange, yellow?
Red, orange, yellow.
Yeah, so then you go down. So you're gonna have all these my girlfriend would just be always calling it base consciousness. All these base people running around.
But the low wave, that low wave is important because the AI doesn't have the low wave. AI vibrates at high frequency. The ultraviolet needs the infrared to be able to encode empathy into the DNA, into life, into consciousness. Dan Winter talks about this in his work about what's it called, structured water. And the phi ratio, so how things like spiral down. You can see it in a conch shell or a sunflower or the galaxy. You see this spiral going on, and it's the length between your digits and the fingers, the the smallest digit to your whole finger. That length is the phi ratio, and it's encoded in all of our body. So getting that, milking that red energy and getting it up through the orange to the yellow to the green to the blue to the indigo to the violet, that's the kundalini. That's awakening the serpent. That's the fire in the blood. That's that's having the bliss experience. That's transcendence. That's the Wim Hof method that you can do. Any kind of breathing yogic techniques. That's the fucking.
That's how you
tie.
That's how you really tie. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
where you're going on the fucking seven gram trips, 8 gram, 20 gram trips. This is like that access, and it just opens up. Hey, use the full extent of your experience and not just a certain part of it. You know, analyze these things, be aware of these things, talk these things, feel these things, know these things. Like,
right on, Exile. You gotta know, because in the Tree of Life in Kabbalah, when moving up the path from Malkuth to Keter, which you can also let me show people, place the
same.
Yeah, you can place the it keeps my thoughts. I'm in 3 different worlds. You can place the chakra system on top of the Tree of Life, and it matches up perfectly to even what the Kabbalistic Tree of Life was even presenting. And that's why the Hermetic order, the Golden Dawn and everything is an awesome science, because it really took a lot of different science from the I Ching, the Egyptians, the Kabbalists, the yogis and everything, and put it in a way that I see a Western mind will put it together. We got to make this into a science. Put words and, but the synchronicities between all of them that they was working with is where all the magic is. Where I found the magic is where I found the magic. And why I bring up the Tree of Life and where you said knowledge, and a lot of depictions of it, it's this path called Dayat. And in Dayat, it means knowledge, but it's like a dark path. It's like darkness, and it's right above the heart, and it's part of the essential self. Like in the bottom is the bodily self, the animal self, the ego, the essential self, and then the top, which would be like the purple chakra and the crown chakra, the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. It's wild that I only can see it as colors, like third eye just went out of my head. But and those, that would be like the merging with the divine, the Keter aspect of the Tree of Life. And then you go down to like where you talking and stuff, like that's, oh, this picture throwing me off. It's so much. I made a whole thing about it. I gotta check that out. But in Dayat, it means knowledge and stuff, and in a lot of practices it was actually taken away, like when it's like shown and stuff. But to the mystics and things, that was like a path that was really sought after, like knowledge of the self, and ways of to getting that knowledge was not how it was normally, like not through words and stuff like that. Hold on, because I'm saying a lot of running around. And let me see what Wiki said first. In the branch of Jewish mysticism known as Kabbalah is the location mystical state where all the 10 Sephiroth in the Tree of Life are united as one. In Dayat, all Sephiroth exist in their perfect state of infinite sharing. The 3 Sephiroth of the left column will receive and conceal the divine light, instead share and reveal it. Since all Sephiroth radiate infinitely self-given divine light, I'm gonna go to something else. Yeah, like I said, that is not always depicted in representations and could be abstractly considered an empty slot into which the germ of any other Sephiroth can be placed. Properly, the divine light is not always shining, but not all. The divine light is always shining, but not all humans can see it. I never read that wiki part before.
The Kabbalah's structure is also interesting. Nassim Haramein puts 6 Sephiroth around each other and then compresses them so that the stack, there's 4 stack on top of 4, and the top 4 become the bottom 4, and it's like the engine of life, or how creation is breathing. the structure of the vacuum.
And once you connect to that breath, that's all you need, right?
Well, right, yeah, right here, here and now.
In the Hebrew, I found
I
something.
don't know if all universes all yours all. No, there's only one universe. You can't say universes because that incorporates all of them. So in all the universe, if there's parallels, there could be laws in these places, realms that don't apply here. Like water isn't wet, or it doesn't have the same properties as here.
Fire doesn't burn.
Right. Those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. When you start thinking of walking up, you just start walking up. Like there's no air, there's no ground there. How are you doing that? You must be from that other universe. I get what you mean. It makes sense to me. Hey, what's up, King guys? Tapped in. I found more of what I was trying to explain about the die-off and the doorway to knowledge and stuff like that. It says in Hebrew language, the word for knowledge or gnosis is die-off. It is usually spelled in English as dayat or die-off or diath. This is a special knowledge that is unique to consciousness. It is not related to intellect. It is not related to belief. It is not in the form of thoughts, words, ideas, concepts, theories, dogma, books, etc. Rather, it is a kind of conscious knowledge related to the soul that has to be put into practice so that this special internal knowledge can grow and build upon itself and elaborate the creation of the soul. When we look for the doorway, what you gonna say?
Walking the path is different than knowing the path.
Yep. That's what they're saying. This is not all about just knowing it, like knowing what to do, like not intellect. The innerness. When we look for the doorway of our own real knowledge, of our own real gnosis, in our own DNA. If we come from a Christian or Jewish background, we find the doorway symbolized in the book of Genesis or Bereshit, the first book of the Bible. That doorway is symbolized in the Garden of Eden as the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The tree of knowledge is Dayat. It is the tree of Gnosis, the tree of knowledge. Yeah, that's what I used to run across. That. All right, everything coming back to me now. And the Lord calls to sprout from the ground every tree present to see good and to eat. And the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And And what if that was a mushroom? Or some kind of psychedelic plant that just brought you into the Dayat, into this knowledge that's in the ineffable. Real words to really speak about it. But you see cats I see people coming back, and cats, they got a lot of lives too. They be traveling dimensions.
Cat down the road.
The cat down the road. Coming back and saying things, or coming back with new motivations, or like existing with new motivations and knowledge that seemed like it come out of nowhere from like this hidden Siri. I think that has all to do with this Dayat and experiencing that on the tree of life.
Yes, sir. You hear that vibration when someone's speaking their truth. As soon as you write it down, the truth disappears, but it's also a representative perspective in your perspective.
It becomes a symbol.
Right.
And how you say symbols don't mean nothing, but they mean everything. That don't mean nothing. That's just a little scribble lines. Like, yeah, I know. That's all you can admit to, because I know that's what it looks like. That's all I can do. But really, once you tap into it, unlock that symbol, you're gonna go places. But you gotta go to the place. I can't take you there. I only can give you the ship.
Show you where the wind's blowing.
But yeah, this just going more into it. I'm not gonna go that deep into the Kabbalah right now. Oh yeah, that's Dayat for you. All right, let's go back to Secret Machines. Oh, that Karl Marx, what I was running past in that Tom DeLonge book that I now brought back up. And he said religion is the opium of the people. It's wild because I was just listening to Slipknot for some reason this morning, like 1-2 songs, but an older song that they made. It was a song called "The Opium of the People." And I remember looking into it, and it was a Karl Marx line. I was like, oh, that's where they got it from. Religion is the opium of the people.
I've been listening to Slipknot more the last 2 weeks. And the drummer, there's more drumming too. Because that drummer is super, like, awesome.
Man, Slipknot drumming is on another level. It take you places, even if you look at him like doing it. He got like 9 drums around him.
Please, yes, look into Slipknot drumming, yes.
Man, he got the double bass drums, like both his feet doing something while his hands is doing everything, all at a rhythm of like probably 500 beats a second.
Right.
And I was listening to him while I was running today. They got me through my jog.
Yeah, that fire in the blood, man. It needs a certain compassion and empathy, relation to, that's why we work out. We're literally shredding our muscles, tearing our fibers when we work out, yet it feels good. So some part of the atrocity of life is beneficial.
If it is. And that's why I was so grateful for the way I grew up. Like when I mentioned that I got depressed and I was looking at the world through different ways, where I was still strong in my character, kinda, but I was like just upset at everything. I was like, everything is torn, like everything is not right, and like how Slipknot will put things.
Right.
Like it was exactly like that. So I was
balance,
thankful.
off kilter.
Yeah, I was thankful that I went like totally off the Richter for that part of my life, so I can see what I'm tapping into, like what it is to be destructive. Cause it's this show, awesome segue. I always get confused between segue and Sedgway. That's why y'all always hear me stop for a second. But it's this show called Kiddin' that I've been watching with I was about to say Jerry Springer. With Jim Carrey, and I've been marathoning. I got a couple of episodes left, but it's a show where he plays like a Mr. Rogers type character, and he wants everything to be calm, nice, wholesome, and that's what he's been playing on his show. And when he's off the show, that's how he's been living his life. So when things get too much, he comes up with the best thing to say. And he'll just go with it, even if it's detrimental to himself. It's not helping his own mentality out in the way of like, hey, this person like hurt me, or I can really be doing this more. But like he was full into self-sacrifice. So when I was really getting into it, like, oh yeah, like this is cool. Or the producers have you get into it, like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like this is cool and stuff. Like, gotta give yourself up. But then you start seeing them start breaking the sink and having these little fits that come out in him when things didn't really go how he thought they would go, or how he wished it to go, because he wanted everybody to be extra nice, like not use bad words, say, why use a bad word when you can think of a good word, and stuff like that. And he was trying to break out more onto the scene. Like in one of the shows he wanted to talk about, he had a divorce, and that's what changed up a lot of the things that he wanted to start talking about. But he still didn't really know how to express it in his character. So he wanted to make an episode on death and say, we got to show the kids how death exists and stuff, and I can show it through the puppets. But then the producers was like, no, we got to keep you up with this image, and you got to be this person. And then eventually you see how they wasn't really treating him like a man. They was treating him just like a character so that they can use him and stuff like that. And it was just beneficial to make money, but his own personal life was falling apart. And eventually he started getting real mad. He hit somebody with his car. And he just started, and all his friends around him like try to help him find other outlets. He had people that was past, his sister would baby him all the time and say, "Oh, it's okay. Like, she didn't want to call you back because probably her phone isn't working and stuff." Like, he had relationships with a girl, and it was his first time meeting her, and they had relationships and stuff, and then she didn't answer the phone. So he took the phone to the store because he was like, "It just must be something wrong with my phone." And so there's a lot of hidden comedy in there too. There must be something wrong with my phone because I have relationships with this person. It was all fun, but I can't connect with her. Like, can you fix it and stuff? And the person's like, "There's nothing wrong with this, sir." So then eventually his son did the pacifying what he was doing, what we do to ourselves, and was like, "Oh, well, maybe something wrong with her phone or something like that, and that's why she didn't call." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, that has to be it." But where I'm going at is in this show and with the exercising and really paying attention that life does fall apart. Life does fall apart, even, and it's not for us to try to keep every single piece of it always together, but just let it do what it do. Because in our human character, I seen that in myself before too. Before psychedelics, and I was watching a bunch of Exile. I was watching a bunch of Infinite Waters every day. Every day, I was on the Infinite Waters tip.
That thorn in your side may be a gift and not a problem.
Yep, a real gift. Because that's what I got rid of it, bro. I was getting rid of it, and then it was making me, it was before I moved to California, I was starting to get real irritated with my family members and stuff because I was trying to just be nice. I was trying to just be a hippie. I was just trying to do all these good things and just be good. And before that, I just wasn't kind of doing anything. So it wasn't like I was doing bad and it was like, "Oh, I want to do good and stuff." I was kind of just always doing my own thing. But I was like, if I want to participate with people now, I want to make sure they doing good and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And now, and then my mom would say, "Oh, when you angry, that's when you really say what you're feeling." So, and then I'm like, "No, it's not. I'm working with it and blah, blah, blah." When really I was just forgetting all about it. Because it was too much. The heat was too much to deal with. So it was coming out in different ways, just like Jim Carrey on Kidding. It was coming out in ways that was uncomfortable to people around me and not helping myself out because I was literally hurting the people around me. So, and I wasn't exercising. I had awesome intentions. I had the best intentions in the world. It's just those intentions had to be turned back on myself. And when I was so-called, what the world called depressed, and what the world called when I wasn't trying to fit in or all of that other stuff, I was really tapping into, as you said, the gift of seeing what's actually going on in the darkness, like in the so-called darkness. Like what mechanisms is going on? What's making me upset or stuff like that? What's really, and it can really be like, hey, you didn't experience this, that you didn't have the experience that you're just not this body. Like, can it be as simple as that? Taking me out of my body and say, "Hey, remember, you're doing all of this too." Because I think when a lot of people try to show people things, they're trying to show people something that they want to show themselves. Like, in a lot of respects. That's why in the best ways, when you're a true artist, you do things for yourself. You know you're doing it for yourself. You just take that to the
strikes the nerve.
Yeah, you want to strike all the nerves. But you realize wholeheartedly doing it for yourself. It's when you get caught up in thinking you're doing it, you got to show somebody, or you're doing it for somebody else, is where it's really a so-called trap. And that's why I like the rock music and stuff like that. Or I get in tune with it. I get in tune with that vibe and stuff because of breaking apart. Because it can be, I only ran across this because if something was shown, like I'm showing myself something. Like we always say, nothing is really by accident. Like, they didn't just randomly create that song and then we randomly started playing it. And then randomly had random inspirations that randomly helped us out. It's like
So what's up with Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and Alice in Wonderland? Or no, not Alice in Wonderland. Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I
If
gotta do that.
if there's nothing random, then how does that make sense?
Yup. It's like that's why I say the controllers. Oh man, I don't like using the word controllers, but the people that's writing reality up there, the aliens, the beings, or the higher selves up there, like
It's the breadcrumb.
yeah, and they writing things out. Like imagine, don't you know sometimes you can write a book and you already know how you want some events to happen, so then you'll write some scripts out so that happens. You don't just start with that. You make things happen over there, and then the characters like, oh wow, they run into each other.
Yeah, certain cards aren't used until late in the game.
Yep. Patience is game. Patience is a game in itself. They're like, oh, I didn't know that was there all this time. They were just sitting there waiting. That's how ancient aliens tried to get all of their money made, by keep putting that slogan out there. It was there all along. We undug all this new ancient technology.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say in S4. They say that, or Bob Lazar's story is that they got them, but then everything could be disinformation at a certain point, or not everything, but some things could be disinformation at a certain point. To see what information gets out, you'd be able to track it down.
And that's when we hear about people disappearing. No.
Yeah. So balance that with struck a nerve. People disappearing, technology being created, and then people disappearing. Does that strike a nerve? At what point do each? It's an individual, probably case by case basis. Based on your inertia, your experience, your knowledge at that time. But at what point do you react to that striking of a nerve, or pro-react? Set up a countermeasure so you know what happens when that nerve gets struck.
You said when?
Yeah. At what point? Yeah. There's if there's a self-reflection going on, a pattern analysis. You're thinking about what you're thinking about, then yes, you can become a magician, a magi of your own craft.
Yep, I think it's only going to happen when the thoughts come to you. Because people can tell you it all day long, and you can fight it or just say, But then when that voice get an event happen, where like you gotta, like most cases on Earth is like when a stressful event happens, and you still wish to still persevere and push on. Most of the time, that's when it kicks in.
So times of adversity.
Yep. And then you're like, hold up. Everything I was thinking is not going to work right now. And then you just let all that loose. But I got to do something.
That's right.
I seen my mom do a lot of magic growing up. Make food appear. Like, we ain't just have money. Or make
it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Make happiness appear out of nowhere.
Right? When Peter Pan, they're eating a bunch of frosting and stuff.
What did he
the
do?
Rufio one. Cook on Hook. Oh, that's on Hook. With,
I didn't see that.
Robin Williams. You never saw Hook? Run Home Jack.
Nope.
It's a good one. It's good. If you look at it now, probably it's a little bit cheesy just because, 90s stuff. You can, I know how they did that. That's a string. He's flying through the air on a string. But yeah, storytelling. It's a good story.
What is it called again?
Hook. With Robin Williams.
Cook or Crook?
Yeah, he played Hook. H-O-O-K.
Gotcha.
He plays Captain Hook. Robin Williams does.
Let me show the team. Yep, Hook came out the year I came to Earth.
Rufio.
In this memory, at least.
Rufio.
1991.
Really?
He starred in a lot of awesome movies.
That's right.
Robin Williams. That's what they say. You come to this life to do what you was supposed to do. If it was to be an entertainer, you were an entertainer. Cause he was here to entertain. And then he rage quit. But that's okay.
Well, part of me thinks that like you get to a certain level in the established media social sphere, and then it's like you almost like know too much just because of how we're finding out about how shit is right now. Like it's kind of decrepit and horrible, adversarial. It's an atrocity. The kind of things that we're experiencing on the earth as a global consciousness right now.
No, it's very tragic. It's very tragic. And that's why we always, regardless what anybody says, always have the key to turn the game off. You want to stop playing, stop playing. And the people in the world is always going to be like, hey, no, hey. But it's a real personal decision. That a person is going to come up and still say, hey, like, let's go for a walk in the park. You say that to me, I'm going to be like, hey, let's go for a walk in the park. I ain't just going to say, all right, see ya. Hey, huh? Ask mommy. I'll type it in for you. It's Mlily. Emily. Alright. Gonna get ready to do those workbooks soon. Cool. What were we talking about? Exile?
We're talking about living in these times today.
Oh yeah, and the traversities that we gotta face and suicide and everything. And yeah, I'm not encouraging it. If anybody needs to talk, hey, come on the PSy TAi Podcast, come on the Discord. You can talk personally with anybody that you feel personal with. It don't even have to be me.
That's right. We're open to talk. We've all been through dark times.
Yep. But just speaking on the mysticism of life and the choices
That's how you get your spirit armor, bro. That's how you get your soul's armor. You gotta do your shadow work.
Yeah, do your shadow work. Do your shadow work. Know the possibilities and know that you're making a choice based off of what's fully there. What's fully there. Like, I know I can kill myself, but why I'm gonna do it right now? Why I'm gonna do it? Like, that's a choice. Not like, oh, I would never even think about it. It's like, why? Why would you never think about it? It must be something going on. But that's a real high level thought. Cause I'm high right now, smoking. I'm thinking about the old Merlin Manson songs I would listen to. And there was a song called Suicide is Painless. And that was a song a lot of people ran into. Well, not a lot of people that I know, but I ran into. And I see Merlin Manson now as that voice. So I'm like, how is he rich and famous? And how is anybody rich and famous talking about death and stuff like that? And yet they still alive and got all this money and living happily. And I'm like,
the 90s was crazy, bro.
It was crazy. It was a lot of forces going on, I suppose. And
a lot of shit breaking. It's just a stem from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's still growing. This. It's like, yeah. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're right. Cause I was listening to grunge music. I was listening to some Nirvana 2 days ago too, and I was explaining to my girlfriend how it wasn't country music. I was like, no, this is 90s grunge music. This was a period of time.
You thought it was country?
Yeah, because it was. I listened to a country to the unplugged
same kind
version.
of thing. You said that you defended against it, but I could see the relation.
Yeah, the tang in his voice.
Well, then the topics too.
Yep. Like down to earth, like talking about just happening in life, kind of sad, a girl or something like that.
Where'd you sleep last night?
Yep. My girl. Where did you go? I know, yeah, 90s was the time. And that's why artists are at the forefront of what I enjoy. I enjoy a lot of things, but I really enjoy artists because we really put ourselves on the line. Like when I was talking about Marilyn Manson and how he talked about all that stuff and suicide and stuff, but yet he's still alive. So I see it now as more of a intellect game being played, a spirit game being played, of him introducing you to a certain selection of thoughts, of bringing you into a different kind of world, like what everybody does. Well, everybody bring to a different kind of world, and then just now, how do you live with this now? And psychedelics bring you into those spaces, especially in the beginning when you start dealing with death and dying and what's real and what's fake and stuff like that. What's going on? Sahi, you said the moon looking crazy right now. You got the moon? I forgot you on. I even remember you on the other side of the world. Looking at the moon.
Yeah, we're going towards a new moon.
Oh, it's gonna be all replenished. The new spirit's gonna be jumping back into the moon. I saw the picture.
Mars is right by it too.
It is. I took a picture when
picture?
Jupiter was near it. Oh, was that you that took the picture? I was like, I saw somebody post that on some social media, but I think that was you.
No, I think it was either King Oz or True. Somebody, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it on social media too.
Yeah, but I think it was Sahi. I think he posted the picture. I think it was on Facebook. I'm going through Discord real fast. Yeah, here it is right here. On the I'm showing the people now. Posted the moon last night. That does look spectacular. And then Frank E, he was taking a picture. That looked like a rising sun. But that's the moon. I'm just not used to looking at city lights so much. That's how it is. That's pretty dope. New moons. I was getting my daughter real, yesterday on the Discord. All right, saw he confirmed it. Double confirmed. All right, let's go back to the book so I can get a random topic. Thank you guys for coming on through the PSy TAi POdcast. Listening to the workings of Tai in exile.
Tom DeLong, Piano Key, King Oz, True Life.
I don't even know how many people is here right now. I'm just trying to talk friendly.
Infinity.
I wish I had a bell. Ding. I'm jumping in a random thing right here. It says alchemy is the project of transformation. It involves the mutation of metals in the most popular sense, changing lead into gold, for instance, as well as the production of the elixir of life, a substance that would not only prolong human life, but would also cure all illness. The Swiss psychologist Carl G. Jung believed that alchemy represented the process of psychological transformation, which he called individual dentation, and neglected the purely chemical aspect. In Asia, alchemy was all of these and more. The language of chemistry was interchangeable with that of spirituality, of what we might call psychobiology. Basically, they are all correct. Yeah, we went over that a couple times. You was probably there too, Exile. I talked about it a couple times about alchemy, not just being about people trying to change metals.
The I Ching. The I Ching is 64 hexagrams that correspond to the same geometry that the Kabbalah corresponds to with the 6 Sephiroth. same geometry that the seed of life corresponds to.
And the 64 codons in the DNA as well.
That's right. That's it. Yes, sir.
Like I said, the synchronicities. We going the sync is real. Sync is real.
Singing the same song.
Same in the same song, different tune. Same harmony though. Probably get it, and we the DJ right now, just remixing them all together. Like, oh, this sound good here. Ricky.
Right. Hey, you got that one track? That makes the purple.
But yeah, the alchemy, what they was, I guess that's the part they talking about in this book. That's what was going on, and it has everything to do with changing the soul. Like I said, the Kundalini, the I Ching, everything dealing with the base consciousness that we start in and leveling up your character. Basically, leveling up your character, recognizing that you don't have to just stay a level 5 peasant all your life. You can be a level
Come on,
50.
Mudblood.
Yeah, you can level up to level 50 warrior or something. Level 50 scroll.
What was the one that you used? You said that the Mudbloods had a caste system in this other realm of fantasy games that they learned on the side, and they had their own specific way of learning. You said it earlier.
I don't remember it fully.
You were talking about, it's like a show that was playing, and it was like the people who weren't accepted into the school, they learned by themselves.
Yeah. They was the hedge. They called them hedge witches.
Right.
Yeah. I see myself.
Hedge.
Yeah.
Like on the edge.
On the edge.
At the edge, you might find your center.
Right on. Cause hey, what's going on, Cristobal? Welcome. Having lunch at Whole Foods, tying in. Oh, I remember doing that in Philly, Cristobal. I used to go have lunch in Whole Foods to make it seem I was doing something different. City life in Philly. They had some good food though. They don't have a Whole Foods in Chico where I'm at. It's in replace of just like local markets that like they get their food from local farmers and stuff, just like Whole Foods and Wood. I remember in one random more thing before I jump in, when they built a Whole Foods on South Park and then they changed the whole neighborhood around. But that's psychology for you.
Well, fuck. What's native, bro?
You said what's native?
Yeah, what's native? If everything moves, if everything changes,
I was
then
gonna
what's
say
native?
to the people that just been there the longest.
What is so?
That's I don't know if you want to make it up. That's what I got to make up something.
Right, I guess. Okay.
But other than that, the definition doesn't really hold true to what we've been using it as.
So if one person was there the longest and then their kids got killed, and then somebody else was there a little bit longer, but the kids came back, so you got this like, oh, time means something. You don't have the Hedgewick theory, you know what I'm saying? That's my basis for because I'm self-initiated. I don't have I'm not a Mason, I'm not a fucking Catholic or whatever. You know, I came to this through my own 2 feet. And I think a lot of people on our channel, a lot of people in our community probably have the same. So I just want to tie on that.
Oh, they absolutely do. The magician in me is not trying to reveal it, but I kind of been on that mission of like trying to surround myself with people that's on that same vibe and learn from people that's learning the same kind of things that I'm been experiencing. Cause Julia, she is my most beloved character in the book. Quentin, I thought was going to be at first because he had a lot of the anxiety issues that I had, But Julia, she was the one who didn't get accepted into the school. She got the test and everything, just like Quentin did. But when she got there and she saw everybody had to take a test and they didn't pass the test, they went back to the world they came from. And Julia and Quentin was really, really smart. They were like in math and everything. They was beyond the other people in their class. So when she got there,
failed the test for some reason.
No, this why she failed the test, because she was analyzing it too much. They explained. I got this picture when I was watching the show, but when I read the book, I was like, "Yep, that's what I was getting the picture Julia was doing." She was like, "How am I supposed to answer it if the script that's on," I was about to say the script that's on the text, the script that's on the paper keeps on changing, and then they wanted her to do certain hand seals and stuff like that. Like, she knew some of the answers, but she was just questioning everything a little too much, so that she didn't get to answer most of the questions that was actually on the test. So she was like, wait, it's over, wait. So then she did something to remind herself of that, because they wipe her memory away. So she did something damaging to herself. Like in the show, she like cut herself so that she could see the scar later and like try to question why it was there. So she spent her life like, she was depressed. She was like, this whole other magical place that I'm aware of, but I mean, this whole thing that I know is going on, but it seemed like something is just off about me. And then she started like not associating with people in her life pretty off, like as often as she was. People was thinking she was depressed, and she just held these. She was just she was in limbo.
Yeah.
And then eventually she ran across something. This guy that, and then she like had these sparks come out her hand. She was like, wait, I knew that this was real. And then the memories started coming back. And I was thinking of like a psychedelic trip. Like us, we went into that trip. I went to the trip and I was like, wait, I knew it. Like, yo, I knew it. Because I was like, I'd be telling people during puberty and stuff, I think is a time when a lot of things, you either keep going, as people say, as a witch, or you'll like go into the muggle world and like learn the ideals of that and go off into the, what people would say also called the system or stuff like that. But then she started going into linking up with hedge witches and stuff, because she's like, I gotta learn this. Meanwhile, Quentin is off at magical school and learning it all in structured ways, got teachers and everything. And I'm like, I think it is people like that as well, that just went off and just like, hey, I'm just in this. But he still went through a lot of trials and tribulations. That's the book. And that's the story. And that's what he was trying to tell.
The learning doesn't stop on either side.
Yeah, and that's what he was
it
telling.
It takes all kinds to roll the wheel of life.
Yep. You don't get nothing. What was his name? Elliot used to tell Quentin when he first came to the university. He said this magic came from pain. He said, you think everybody here didn't come from a pain like you have? Like, you think you're the only one?
Right? Go find a house that has no sorrow. Go for it.
And with the hedge witch though, learning the magic, and Julia, she eventually ran across different houses that they had that was learning magic and stuff, and people was learning they had certain people set up that knew more spells or was able to conjure them more than the other people, and they was all and then Julia just was really into it. And that's how I see us now. I see us now as like really clicking together, coming together with the projects and the information that we ran across, and trying to figuring out what's going on, and working our magical duties, like doing what we got to do.
That's right.
To get the spells to work, because we know it exists. We know it's real. Like, it's not it's like a point of flicking our mind, switching our mind has been switched, and it's like no turning back. Like, our memories will make us be depressed, like how I was saying Julia was. Like, man, I know it's something more. Because she was really, really, really smart. Really smart. She was accepted into colleges, like all the Ivy League colleges. And then it was something, because in the book Exile, in the second book, she, What happens? She wants to get back to Break Bills, which is the college that didn't accept her. and she's waiting for an acceptance letter or a mail, and or to get back with Quentin and connect and ask some questions like this one. She's trying to, because she's like, yo, I got my memories back. Like, I know this place exists. I want to get back. How do I get back? Oh man, I forgot.
They want to get back.
Yeah,
she's trying to get back.
Yeah, she just really wanted to get back to the place, and oh, I forgot. She was just real determined. But now I'm seeing that trip can be done with deep meditations and psychedelics and stuff. You can just get back there.
That's right. You do some Wim Hof breathing, start seeing colors, bro. You start manipulating your chi. You start traveling. Or any of the pranic breaths.
Now, when I start doing that, I start seeing dead people. I start seeing things. Like, I'd be doing that. I have those experiences. I be seeing objects morphing, and they be other objects. But because I see it like that, I see it as that first, and then it will like change into something else.
Yeah.
If I'll change back into like the pebble or the rock or something like that. Like, I would think that was a lizard, and it really looked like a lizard, and then I move closer. Oh, that's just a rock and a leaf, and then the way the shadow was placed on it. And that's why I love art, though. That's why I'm in love when I really create the space that I need, well, that I wish for, because it's already being created. I'm doing art now as we talk. Like, I'm not beating myself up, but where I can get all of these displays,
we make ourselves better. So like to beat yourself up every now and again. Just don't, knock yourself out, I guess. Hey, sometimes we need to get knocked out. Floppy fish.
I really want the space to create the like a lot of what people will call surreal art. I call Thai real art or Thai art, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, but or with my own eye. I don't know what eye I was looking at it, but I seen that kind of things. But even when I'm here in this dimension, I see shadow plays in my mind. As people will say, my mind play tricks on me, but I just see it as me tapping in and my imagination being able to leak out like it want, or play out as I wish it to.
If you can imagine your first house right now, probably, or you can imagine a red ball, and then change it
in
different
my old
house.
Bouncing down the steps. Every time it bounces down the steps, it's a different color. Yeah.
Anything that's what we call our third eye, or our imagination, or our pineal gland. That's actually happening. Those are real images that do exist, what we would say someplace. Yeah. But just in a different kind of context.
I would say, I just had an example shown to me just now of say that, and you helped me out too, was the mind shows TV, because I used to always say to my girlfriend when I first met, I say, I'm sorry, I just have a bunch of images that just go through my mind like TVs, and it's just a bunch of screens and stuff, and I'll just be paying attention to them a little more than I sometimes would pay attention to what's going on in front of my face. Right. So now with this example, TV screen, it is a TV screen in my vision. And what I'm doing is watching what was filmed. Like, I was just watching somebody filmed the whole scene of a ball falling down the steps in my old house, and every time it went down a step, it changed different color, and they did use whatever technology they needed, special effects they needed to make that happen, and then they broadcasted it across the multi-dimensional space, and then I picked up on it in my TV screen, and then I so-called envisioned it, or I probably just tapped in to the synchronicity because it was already happening, and I just tapped on right in. It was like, hey, ball house, my house. Oh yeah, I can do. And that's what I think. That's a cool, when using our imagination. That's a cool directional tool too, because it's useful in trips. Like, that's where I think people don't really recognize.
Totally useful in trips. Yeah. It's like integral.
It's what's all that's going on.
it's the Kabbalah. It's 6 Sephiroth. It's the 64 hexacodon. It's you're seeing it happening right now and now and now and now and now. it just seems so dense because the wavelengths are mostly red here. We're living off mostly like the low base. We can tap into the ultraviolet. That's how we can think and get these get in sync, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in sync with certain things around you. That's when you're tapping into that ultraviolet.
And that's real, because I was going through it in my head while you were saying the chakras, the bottom base, as you said before, is the red, the orange, and the yellow. The root, like survival, and then the orange is like the sexual pleasures and stuff like that, the emotional energies tied to the world, and then the fire, once you get to the yellow, like the will. Like that's we got to go through all of those things in order to make something happen here.
That's
Make
right.
it, bring it down, because when you put that on the tree of life that I was bringing up earlier, the root chakra and stuff, it lies on Malkuth, which Malkuth means earth. It's the earth kingdom, it's the foundation. So that's the material plane. So that's things
right.
that's happening here. So in order to bring all them things here, our body is multidimensional, like you were saying, Exile. When we really tap it into the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the ajna chakra, the third eye chakra, and the crown, we tap it into something really bigger than ourselves. And to some people,
Right.
it's just so natural, or to us, it's so natural because that's what it's supposed to be. But it's something
Right.
that's really part of something bigger than what's going on. That's why when we look around, we see a lot of the three lower chakras happening. Well, I gotta survive. But that's how the magic works, though, through sexual magic, through survival magic, through sheer will. I'm gonna make it happen.
That's right.
Or the grounding, like knowing how it happens, and then trying to work with memories and stuff like that, with intellect.
And as with everything, things here appear in polar opposites. So there's, in my understanding, in Reiki and other schools of thought, there's two spirals of energy, convexing. What's the coalescing? No, concressing. There's two spirals of energy concressing to create this physical body that we're experiencing. One spiraling up from the bottom, which is the earth, and then one spiraling down from the top. That's why we when NFL players get to the touchdown, they point up and thank the creator or thank God, or we point to the heavens, we point up. Like the heavens are above us always, but we're actually turning. So it's just a spiraling energy, in my understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something that exists in the other plane, so it's like it's always above us, regardless of if we feel like we turn on Earth and stuff like that.
Like some things
I get what
just
you mean.
make sense sometimes. It's like
Mhm.
the oversoul, the higher self precipitates down and slow. It's a slower thing. The one coming up from our bottom, from the lower self, is very immediate. It's very present. But the higher self precipitates slowly. So if you can get that drip to a stream, that's what we're talking about, rising the kundalini, getting that energy from the bottom to the top, so you're able to access this more often. Then it's more of a streaming consciousness all the time. It's not like they're separate. Oh, I've got to think about survival. No, I'm always thinking about survival. I'm always thinking about compassion. I'm always so that's the theory.
Yeah, that's how you tie. That's cool. My first episode was the first episode of Todd that was made. It was about survival and stuff. And it was exactly what you were saying, because I was running across it and I was like, oh yeah, yeah. Like, I have
Right.
been just trying to survive, and that's why I've been
And it's
coming
like
up
you
with all
remember
these
it. Oh,
ideas.
all at one time, I know Kung Fu. You just get it. Whatever it is, it's just there for you. But it's always been all the way there. We're just taking this vibratory step, this distorted, atrocious, beautiful, synchronistic, put all the words together, and that's what it is.
A
Any kind of
masterpiece.
adjective. Right. It's easy to kind of talk about, but then it changes.
It's supposed to change, because change is part of that awareness. But yeah, I
Why,
think that's
like
where time
that,
comes in.
well, yeah, that feeling, you encode those things into a long wave vibration, long wave frequency, and they're able to sustain, like in a song. You're able to feel that emotion, feel that long wave thing embedded over a high wave, a
Like, how long
high.
can you hold a note? That's considered an honorable thing. And singing.
Kenny G played it for like 43 minutes or something. He did a continuous note for 43 minutes. Is a world record.
What? Kenny G,
No,
the saxophone
I
player.
believe so. Yeah, you breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth the whole time.
Mm-hmm. G world record. Yup. He did it for, let me show everybody. I can keep the podcast interesting. Show some visual. 45 minutes and 47 seconds.
45.
Kenny G held his note for 45 minutes, but took it all the way to 46 minutes and 38 seconds. Femi Kuti. Oh, he broke it. He said, I'm gonna go a minute longer. I'll make you so upset. Not by 10 minutes, a minute. But that just shows the human capability right now, period, then. If it's just in that range right now.
Yeah, you're talking about David Blaine earlier. We're superhumans, bro. We're like,
Go,
you
yeah.
must be so great to deserve so much hate.
People hate on David Blaine all the time. You know how many videos it is of him saying he's the devil?
They were saying that back when he was doing street magic.
Oh, definitely when he's doing street magic. He was going to the hood and stuff and making things appear and people. That's why I was saying he brought magic to the hood. Like he brought it to people, that inspiration of magic, that idea of magic to people that was still demonizing it. Let alone not even experiencing it in their everyday life.
Right.
So not the thought of even going into that was like beyond them. So then to see him coming into their life and doing it, and even through the TV, he came to the hood to me on TV. I was sitting in the projects watching David Blaine. Like, yo, this guy awesome. I want to do what he doing or see what he about. Where's this magic thing? And like bringing love to people. Like he just wanted to bring a shock expression and see the joy on their face from not understanding or just from being a part of an experience, a magical experience. Because a lot of people are depressed and they're like, man, things don't change. Things are always is what it is, like concretely.
Stagnant.
Yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Things is what it is, but that is what it is involves changes that a lot of people didn't really grow up with or was turned off from because of murders that happened in a life that was close to them, or from not having their parents not being able to provide the right like emotional expression to them, like a full capable emotions, or didn't have food or money and stuff like that. So that inspiration that don't really come unless you're a weirdo like me. And but that's
Well,
why.
explain the weirdo. Explain it.
Explain the weirdo.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful.
Yeah.
What is being weird though? Hey weirdo, what is being weird though?
Hey, I wear that like a patch on my, like a Boy Scouts patch. But yeah, being weird is cool. Being weird just mean, well, not just mean, it can mean a lot of things, but it can mean just seeing things from a different expression. Like you express yourself differently to yourself. So when you look out back on the world, it look different to you. It's not how everybody is seeing it. Like it's probably not as depressing. Like, or you have you just have a home. Like most weirdos I see have a place in their mind that they're able to go to, even if it's sometimes scary. It's like I'm able, if I'm do this, I'm zoned out. If I'm playing the video game, or if I'm drawing or creating some art project, dressing, like getting into fashion or something like that, that's different than the people around me, it's bringing about a certain meditation.
Right.
Yeah, that's bringing about a certain meditation that seems that in order to tap in, I have to do something that seems weird to other people. But it's the thing that brings me a little closer to home. And that home is a really, really strange place when you compare it to Earth. But that's who we are internally. It's like tapping in to yourself. That's all where it is. Is when you displaying that inner thing. That's why when people kind of say stuff, they be like, this may come off as a little weird, but it's really probably something that they really feel connected to. But it's like, man, and it's life change. They know it's going to change their life after they say it. And that's the weird. Weird is life changing. Weird is going to change the conversation, going to bring new light into things.
I think Shakespeare was the first one to start using it. It was spelled W-Y-R-D.
W-Y-R-D.
Let me look it up. Or you're going to look it up?
Yeah.
The weirding way was also in Dune. That was how he charged the vocal weapon. Or whatever.
No, that was perfect. I had an anime running through my head while you were saying that. Macbeth. Weird comes from the... Yep, here it is right here.
Macbeth.
I gotta get
That's like...
Where Discord at? I mean...
12th, 14th century or something?
And it says Macbeth and the Weird Sisters. Weird comes from the Anglo-Saxon word weird, W-Y-R-D, and means fate or destiny. Thus, the Weird Sisters are foretellers of Macbeth's fate and Shakespeare's primary.
The Weird Sisters.
Thus, the Weird Sisters are foretellers of Macbeth's fate. Well, did I just described all of that? Yeah, that's weird for you guys.
I'm saying.
Just tying.
I think there's only one story. Shout out Dior.
Yeah, shout outs Dior. That's my middle name.
Really?
Yeah. It's one
That's
story,
awesome.
bro.
That's what I'm saying.
In Shakespeare's primary source for Macbeth, Holinshed's chronicles the Weird Sisters are goddesses of destiny, but they are far from sinister in Shakespeare's version. And then he say how he discusses it. Notable changes are also made by Shakespeare in his depiction of Holinshed's three weird sisters, and it is apparent that the... Wait, let me make this a little bigger for y'all. And it is apparent that the alterations are implemented partially to instill trepidation in the audience. Holinshed's sisters are creatures of the elder wood, nymphs or fairies. Nymphs are generally regarded as goddesses of the mountains, forests, or waters, and they possess a great deal of youthful beauty. And similarly, fairies are defined as enchantresses, commonly taking a small and dainty human form. Holinshed's illustration of the creatures Macbeth chances upon is far removed from the portrayal Shakespeare gives us through Banquo. Alright, that's not really giving us more information unless we trying to break apart Shakespeare. But yeah, that's pretty cool to know. Unless I'm probably on Jeopardy one day.
So it's like drawing from the ethers, right? Because the three fates were able to see somebody's destiny or potentials for their destiny. So it's almost kind of like divination.
And yep. It is like divination. I remember researching the many forms of divination, and they still be popping up, even just throwing sticks on the ground. That's from the Chinese, Asian countries, and seeing how they lay on the ground and connecting through source through that. How you able to read it.
Being weird
Mm-hmm.
is divination. That's the tie I was connect.
No, that's an awesome tie.
That's the tie I was nodding.
Nodding towards.
Weaving. That's the tie I was weaving.
No, that's how it is. That's how it is. It is. And that's why it's encouraged. You hear they say weird people say I listen to different music and all of that. Just tapping in, displaying divination, saying things, displaying yourself, and really they coming into contact with things that you can't even explain yourself. Like, man, I knew this was going to happen. Like, I be having thoughts and stuff. Can't explain. Like that X-Men vibe. And then you get the Professor X signal sends your way. Like, there's more like you. And then you like wake up in your parents' house or something like, oh man, I gotta move out. Or if you got cool parents that was already mutants too, they just tag along. That happens too. Cause I seem to always be around the weirdos. I always knew the kind of culture that I was gonna develop and grow up in. I was always with the kids in school that was like on the outskirts, but I still knew how to be cool with the people that was so called that you would see on the Exile. You know how movies and stuff play out the inner circle and stuff.
Everybody's just people. Yeah. Everybody. What's that Logic song? Everybody's people.
I know Logic, but I ain't hear that song.
That's a good song.
Yeah, it's all.
I work hard every day, yay.
I had the chance to meet Logic back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, before he really blew up, when I was trying to do the rapping thing back in 2011. And my friend kept talking about him and stuff, and I was like, oh. I said, it was something, we was trying to get connected with him. We was connected with these other people that knew him and stuff like that. My friend was all excited. But I wasn't too excited about him at the time, and that was my fault. But still, we didn't really take it that far as we could have, period, with a lot of things. But I wouldn't be here right now.
Are you familiar with Dizzy Wright? Dizzy Wright?
Dizzy Wright? Yeah, I heard of him.
Mm-hmm. From Las Vegas? Yeah.
What about him?
No, just same kind of like conscious. No, like aware. It's a good book to read, to listen to those tracks, or that music. It's like an update. You get an update, see what's going on, reading the book.
That's why I like staying updated with the youth, as old people would say from the '60s would say. Know what's going on in the conscious field, the troubles or the good, and what's appreciated, what's not appreciated, and what's going on. That's still like a part of my emotional field of view. And it's going to affect me in ways that I want to understand when it comes at me, instead of being shocked and surprised. Like, look at all these young whippersnappers. Like, why would you even feel like that? Everything is like this. Don't you know this? It's like, nah, yeah, I get it.
No, it's good to hear the same thing, though. It's that independent correlation. You're saying the same thing in a different way. Yeah. Like, it's a renew, revital,
reiteration.
Yeah. Gotta tell the story again, make it relevant. We're only telling one story. You can go back and there's certain like archetypes of characters throughout stories and stuff. So that's all that needs. I mean, that may be some of the problem, because most people aren't weird, right? And so a quote normal way or a mainstream way of thinking about things is not going to look outside the box. so it has to be relevant or be able to hit on their day-to-day basis.
Has to be able to cash in.
Yeah, it's not like something outside the box. It's something like, oh yeah, that's yada yada and yada yada. That's exactly, you know. So
The hood preachers. As they are, the hood preachers, just preaching about what's going on, saying what's happening, reporting the news in the artistic, from the muse type of view. He said from the storyteller point of view. But yeah, the stories and everything, being able to. I had something I was about to say. It keep escaping me every time I think about it. But yeah, connecting with people. That's what comes with being kind too. Because people can do a lot of other things, but when they making an art form that's displaying how they feel, how the people around them feel, that's a form of kindness to me. Because you're trying to relate. That's all we want to do is relate. Yeah, the talk is charged.
Yeah, that art has been living then. It's an alive thing.
Like me here talking, I can just come on Exile. I can just come on here and say, blue blah blue blah blue. Yep. Blue 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 blue, and just like talk like that. But it won't mean nothing to anybody because nobody speaks that. It's not like connected to what anybody knows.
Right.
So like talking, this is a form of we creating stories now. Like even Exile, you creating stories for that connect with people on the level of what they experienced in their own life, of what we experience in our own neck of the woods. So if y'all want to come on in Discord or type something, y'all can come and do that as well.
There was a time when the commandant of the army or the head guy of the military used to have to come from the grunt force, the front lines. That law was passed in like the 90s or early 2000s where it didn't have to be like that anymore.
That early?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, if you look upon how the current president has the powers that he's wielding, it's been built since the first George Bush. But yeah, like I forgot what I was saying. Totally threw me off. Blanked out.
My mind went blank. Remember that song?
Dude, I love waking up and playing music.
I just started playing my little guitar again. Started strumming some chords and getting into some scales again, trying to get them back in my head, get the finger memory back. But how does it feel? Waking up playing
vibrant.
Music? Oh, as it should.
Feels enthralling.
What kind of instrument you play, or is it electronic instrument? Or
right now, I've been playing on the djembe.
A drum?
Yes.
Is that like the 2 drums or just one?
It's just one, but you can make it sound like it's a couple different drums.
I bet.
Banging on the side, on the bottom. Put some bells on your feet.
Oh, what you was talking about too was how the president doesn't have to be in the wars anymore. Like they don't have to actively participate in the wars. They just can be elected to run the wars.
The king used to fight front lines. There was some magi going on right there. This is that fucking. See, it's all good.
And that's real too, because the people that should lead the people should have that energy, that energy that's able to break apart energies and stuff, like that warlike quality to them. that's literally
an
for the
understanding
people.
of what's actually going on at the root zone,
Yeah,
instead of sitting on the top and thinking you know how the bottom operates.
and relying on a chain of people to relay information. Like we all played the
Yeah.
whisper game before. Once it gets to like the eighth person, you saying something totally different. And now that person that runs everything underneath gotta say, all right, now this is what this guy said, or this cabinet said. I know how politics work. So now I gotta go off of what they're saying. and and that's how
Humans
it's
are
been.
fallible.
Yeah.
It's acceptable. We act like we're not.
It's
We
soldiers
act like
smoking
this.
weed. Yet the president say, "Hey, you can't do that." Like what? How you think they doing what they doing? So, some of them. Just a lot of different ways, or even like, oh, we're not gonna run and kill all of these people right here, or like say we kill, just lie and say we did all of this too. There's a lot that goes on. Lying, saying they killed people, then actually going in and killing people and not saying anything about it. Like if you actually there and then you have to go and talk to all of America and you did some literal shady stuff, like you was there and you wasn't just bred to be you wasn't just one of the order followers that just did something just because it was a command, and like, well, it came from a higher command, so just working out my duties, sir. And like and then because those people not going to go talk in front of all America after doing stuff like that, they just going to get paid and be able to take care of their family and just live however they want to live after that. But the president is always supposed to be under some kind of pressure, or the leader should always be under some kind of pressure of the people, because and that pressure should come from an inner
Well,
voice.
communication.
Yeah.
Yes, pressure comes as an internal guidance of your own moralities. That's
Yep.
any external stimuli, we might agree this, except for like being punched in the face, would, when we're talking, is an internal stimuli.
But that's the way it's been. That's the way it happens in a lot of realities. Sometimes just the rich folk is just sitting there on top and they just run as a tyrant for a
Well,
long
we were
time.
born into this, right?
Yeah, we really were. And other countries got it a lot worse, like the countries in South America and stuff like that.
Man,
Or just
I
one
can turn on
person.
the water right now. I can go and turn on some water and it's clean.
Yeah.
In my
Aren't they holding
I'm not
water back in
bragging.
South America and stuff?
I'm observing that the opportunities that we have sometimes are not available for our appreciation because of certain objectives or opinions that we have about how everybody should be doing something. Like, we can go to the store and get food. Like, there's some countries like, man, you might not eat this week. Like, so some of those, the things that we have, I'm not saying fucking, I don't know. We're blessed, bro. Like, we're so blessed. Like, everybody on this North American kind of continent, or, there's a lot of places that it's not this good.
Definitely they not. Definitely. And that's why at the beginning of life, you got a good eye, get a lot of warning signs and help do changes here so that it don't wind up like other places. And then be able to actually, if you choose to, physically go to other places and help them out. Not just send money over and stuff like that, but physically like commune with the people and different races, different countries and stuff like that. And just see what's going on. Even if you're not there just to change things, just see what's going on and just see how your experiences can contribute to what they already got.
Yeah, that's kind of hard sometimes because the monkey said, "Let me help you," to the fish as he kindly put him up the tree. I think parents kind of said.
Yeah, you gotta have a deep rapport with other human beings.
I
And be
like
willing to
that
just
word.
be able to go along with the flow. I said, not just going to go change, but just say, hey, I see what's going on. Like if they got a wish or something, like you see them trying to pump water out of a well or something, or get something, and they're like, oh, well, I know about this technology. I can get it y'all. It's gonna make this a lot faster. Like here, you can just keep it. Then they're like, oh, thanks, and now they can keep doing what they're doing, just a lot more efficiently. Or without
Right.
having to rely on how we got to this conversation, on the tyrant that's making it like that in the first place, or the dictator.
Well, like normal sustainable things that everybody needs, that we can probably agree: food, and clean water. So there's places like that have a lot of mist that I saw in, like, I think Argentina, Peru, in these mountains, and they put these huge wind screens up that's made of specific material that the moisture doesn't pass through. It's small enough that
To
the
capture it?
wind passes right, but then the water's just pooling, so you got all this fresh rainwater essentially.
Oh, that's legit. That's a good technology. And it's simple, too.
Simple.
Print it out with some 3D printers. Or probably need something on a bigger scale than that. But, yeah.
With permaculture, there's ways to normalize the environment's highs and lows, like the rainy seasons and dry seasons, by getting the rain, when it does come, down into the groundwater. So you can look up like different places around the world where people have greened and made lush, like acreages of land. Acreage of land.
We gotta do something. Well, some people are
We
gonna do
can-
something.
We can do a lot. We
Uh-huh.
can do a lot.
Yeah, we can do a lot. Even as simple in our own neighborhoods. And that's just continuing the story. Just being weird in the moment, coming up with something. Something that I could do. No, it's something. It's gonna seem weird. Gonna seem like I don't even have to do it. Like the world gonna turn even if I don't participate. But I just got this inkling. I'm weird enough to try it.
Like Tesla used to talk to lightning.
Yeah, they all had names, right? Exile.
I think they might have been his kin too at one point, and I don't know if that was in the documentary or not. I might have been making that up, but he talked to them like they were his family, like the lightning.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
now.
they did have names too, I think.
Yes. Many important discoveries. What is it? Need the whole earth. Do you hear music? All the times, natural air. Hold on, let me get what I'm looking up on the screen. I'm looking up an interview.
I think I saw it on it was like a audio. They play it on YouTube or like something visual.
All right, here goes something. This is a cool interview. It says, once in 1899, Nikola Tesla had an interview with a certain journalist, John Smith. That sounds like a fake name. When Tesla said everything is the light. Tesla, yes. You mind if I read this, Exile?
Please.
Tesla, yes. Tesla, these are some of my most important discoveries. I'm a defeated man. I have not accomplished the greatest thing I could. What is it, Mr. Tesla? Tesla, I wanted to illuminate the whole world. There is enough electricity to become a second sun. Light would appear around the equator as a ring around Saturn. I am part of a light, and it is the music. The light fills my six senses. I see it, hear, feel, smell, touch, and think. Thinking of it means my sixth sense. Particles of light are written notes. A bolt of lightning can be an entire sonata. 1,000 balls of lightning is a concert. For this concert, I have created a ball lightning which can be heard on icy peaks of the Himalayas. About Pythagoras and mathematics, a scientist may not and must not intrigue of these two. Numbers and equations are signs that...
Hold on right there. Pause.
What's going on?
Pause?
What's going on?
Pause right there. Put a bookmark. I want to come back.
You?
So, what do you say? Go back to that Himalayas sentence, please, if you would reiterate that.
It says, for this concert, I have a ball... I created a ball lightning, which can be heard on the icy peaks of the Himalayas. I think I think he's saying when he built his Tesla tower. He contributed to the concert.
So what I heard from it is that it's still there. He created something that you could still go to the Himalayas around certain times or whatever and still witness what he has created as a concert, as a symphony, as a requiem over time.
I get what you mean. Hey, what you need? You want me? All right. I'll be there today, baby. I know I said that
Please,
3 times.
Continue if you would.
I was there, my daughter walked in.
Beautiful soul.
It says about Pythagoras and mathematics, a scientist may not or must not have free on these two. Numbers are equations and signs that mark the music of the spheres. And if Einstein had heard these sounds, he would not create his theories of relativity. These sounds are the messages to the mind that life has meaning, that the universe exists in perfect harmony, and its beauty is the cause and effect of creation. This music is the eternal cycle of stellar heavens. That music is what we was talking about too, Exile. About one story that you just keep tapping into.
That's right. We're singing it. We're part of it right now. And right now. I remember
it was a documentary I was watching, and a guy was saying, "You're shifting now. You're shifting now. You're shifting now." No, you're always shifting. The smallest star has completed composition and also part of the celestial symphony. The man's heartbeat are part of the symphony of the earth on the earth. Newton learned that the secret is in geometric arrangements and motion of the celestial bodies. He recognized that the supreme law of harmony exists in the universe. The curved space is chaos. Chaos is not music. Einstein is the messenger of the time.
Say that again. Go back to the curve, please.
Yeah, I was burping.
The
curved space is chaos. Chaos is not music.
Curve. So what does that mean?
So that means Einstein's a measure of time. That the chaos is something beyond what's going on here. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's beyond even the music.
And what's a curve?
You tell me.
It's a separation self-referencing.
A separation self-representing?
Self-referencing separation. It's bliss. It's Dan Winter's infinite compression. It's how these like the mathematics of bliss, of how the flow state, the will, the face moving across the waters. It's in many of the Gnostic or esoteric literature. The creations, how creation. We're talking about the 6 Sephiroth. We're talking about the 64 hexacodon. These all intertwine.
Curves is where it's at. I understand the concept. I just thank you for sharing those words. Like I know the feeling and everything. Now you gotta stay curvy.
Right. This is just my interpretation of that thing. This is not. You should not take my words and say, "Oh yeah, that's what it is." No, take your own words and see what you think about it. I don't know shit.
Hey, it all makes sense. It's one story, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
And now,
continue.
the journalist After he said that, he said, "Mr. Tesla, do you hear that music?" And Tesla said, "I hear it all the time." Wait, let me click on this just in case. All right. It says, "I hear it all the time. My spiritual ear is as big as the sky we see above. My natural ear I increased by the radar. According to the theory of relativity, two parallel lines will meet in infinity. By that, Einstein's curve will straighten. Once created, the sound lasts forever. For a man, it can vanish, but continues to exist in the silence that is in man's greatest power. Now, I have nothing against Mr. Einstein. He's a kind person, has done many good things, some of which will become part of the music. I will write to him to try to explain that the ether exists and that its particles are what keep the universe in harmony and the life in eternity." And that's dope, because that was around these times. It was Tesla and Einstein, just like it was Tesla and Thomas Edison. Tesla was so big, he was going against a bunch of gods of the past. He was like, hey, this is going on over here. We can't deny this science. I'm a scientist too. And my experiments speak for themselves. And that's why they burned them up.
Well, yeah, that's like Plato's cave. Somebody comes in and tells you that you're just looking at shadows. It's like, nah, bro, these are shadows, bro. There's other stuff out there, bro. Nah, bro, these are shadows, bro. I know they're shadows. My dad told me the shadows. His dad told me shadows. We have a song about shadows.
Yo, bro, if we had money, I would say that we should, and if I cared enough, that we should sign up for college, like the colleges that's here, and just blow through a psychology degree and stuff like that, and just
right, just take the test.
Yeah, my mom brought that up. That's why I brought it up. She said, if you just went to school, said you'll be a psychologist, so you get a degree in that, you would just blow right through it. I was
got
like,
7 doctorates. Oh, you got 7 doctorates.
Because that's what they brought up. I remember when I was in school and they was bringing up Plato's cave, and that's when I first heard about it. Now with all the stuff that I experience now and what you experience and talk about, it's like, that's easy work. That's
what we're doing is building a new university. It's fucking Professor X's School of Mutants, bro.
Yep.
It's like, you're taking, it's like what Tesla said. It's like Einstein's the present stuff. We can go into the colleges now and get their books and stuff. That stuff's quaint and it serves a purpose, but we're building a symphony, bro. We're building a fucking, it's so encompassing because they're missing the ultimate thing, that where you have your fire in your blood, you are an integral part of this fucking thing. You're not outside of it. It is inside you. You're a part of it. This is going on right now.
Bang, just tie, guys.
That's a good clip. I'm kidding.
No, I need the satire. I need everything. Even you.
No, I'm serious. Like, I was so growing up watching X-Men. I was so I resounded with Professor X. Like that idea to where, hey, this is also going on. This is not contrary to your way of life. This actually goes in harmony and can embellish your way of life. This is not. I'm not opposed to you. Kind of. Magneto was the opposition. We are different from them. They'll never understand. The Mugbloods versus the Hogwarts or whatever it is. But then the Hedgewicks. Like, there's people fucking. The more you squeeze your fist, the more it leaks out your fingers. And infinity resounds infinitely. So there's no way you're going to be able to encompass it, control it. Sure, you're going to have people that try and do with religion, with money, with spiritual, whatever it is, with all these different separations. We're talking about self-referencing, the symbols that guide. You draw a certain symbol, and now I can say that this is a certain way now. If you look at this thing, this is what you're supposed to get from it, because I say it.
That's why, like you said, we're creating right now. New school.
Right.
And like, you keep going, creating the symbols. As soon as they create it's a reality
lingo
behind it.
Yeah, lingo is important though too, because things aren't necessarily immutable. Things are always changing, right? So even the words, the thoughts, the things we think are stable are not stagnant, are not concrete. You know, nothing is actually concrete. Nothing is actually touching anywhere. Nothing nothing actually touches anywhere.
Nope.
It just feels like it because we're a nerve. We're a giant fucking nerve. We're like, sorry.
We just had the nerve to say they was touching. You got some nerve. Yes, I do. They are touching. You're right on point. I'm just happy that you came on the show, that you hear saying this about the school and everything, because it is what it is. It's whatever anybody want to make out of it. But I've been on the X-Men tip and everything for a while. Like, I grew up watching X-Men and Spider-Man, the 90s versions, cartoons. And then when I started doing acid and stuff again, I started feeling like the X-Men and started feeling like I was going through their story of life, waking up to mutant powers and all this other stuff and not fitting in with the society around me. And like, I was looking for a teacher and stuff, and then I found out that I was going to be my own teacher and everything.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah. And the proof in the pudding, y'all gotta check out this video right here. It's I'm showing people on YouTube real fast. It's called Psychedelics, DNA, the X-Men and You, the PSy TAi POdcast number 24, Epigenetics, a year ago. So I was on the tip that you were saying how you felt about the X-Men and everything. I was tying all that in there. But yeah. And the only way to make it happen, the only way I can make it happen is just the flow. That's the only way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be here now.
Do I have to? You already are.
Nope. You're gonna, yeah.
What are you saying? You're already in the water. What do you mean? Do I have to swim? Swim. Go. I'm not even holding you. I remember one on my trip. That was the big monkey. I don't know what to call it. I was about to say monkey fist, but I don't know. You know what that means? But it was kind of. It felt like
it kind of resonates.
The monkey in the air fist, like ah. But
okay.
I was one of the big takeaways from my trip. It was felt like I was drowning in a puddle of water. Just like that. Just like how I expressed it, but all I had to do was stand up. Because it was just a puddle of water.
Sometimes the best thing we can do is get out of our own fucking way, bro.
It was just a puddle.
like Robin Hood with Kevin Costner and fucking Little John's drowning. He's all, just fucking stand up. Just stand up.
Yeah, it's in a lot of movies. That's what was cracking me up when I came back to this reality. I was like, yo, that joke is played out in a lot of movies, but I literally was experiencing that, like through my point of view.
Yeah. And the movies have to have truth in them, bro. They can't tell all lies or you wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, that's why I think the movies that get up there have a certain caliber of truth to them that speaks, like, has so much wisdom put in it, as we would say. Like a piece
of the
from
story.
Here,
you're telling the story, because if you can tell the story in completion, somebody's gonna get it. You know, you tell the story front to back in completion, I'm not gonna say everybody, but somebody is gonna get it.
It's gonna happen.
Even if it's your own story, just complete it, like whatever it is. It'll make sense.
I'm sitting back watching popcorn in another dimension right now, just watching my life. Like, oh man, what happens next? And I could be the only one watching it, and that's all right, cause it's just me. Like I said, the artist always knows he's doing things for himself or doing things for oneself, not for other people.
Yeah, that we can definitely make ourselves better.
Mm-hmm. And to upgrade, get those experience points up and do the
But
thing for the
also there's that's the top energy. That's the higher self telling you that, or guiding you, precipitating down. But there's also a earth chakra that is in tandem, parallel as well. So these higher thoughts are commingling with the earthly self, with the earthly body, finding out ways of harmony between them, because you get this aha moment and then you got to filter it down, right? You got to just find
filter it
out
through some
how,
808s.
right? Right? Get that reverb. Oh man. They say that that bass noise that we hear is like when there's 10,000 monks chanting, or when the Giza pyramid was fully activated. That's the noise that it made.
Wow. And we not playing with it. You see the effect that the 808 has.
Dude,
The 808 drums, for those who don't know, is the what you hear in almost every trap song. There's power to it. Hold on, Rudy. But Exile, I'm gonna finish reading this
Yes, sir.
article so I can head out pretty soon and get the daughter and everything.
Yes, sir.
Hold on.
I appreciate you.
Hey, same here, bro. Just tying. Oh, this is way longer than I thought, but it's probably good. Okay. That's the last thing I'm up to. Everything cool?
I'm good. Are you talking to me?
I know. Talking to Mina. There's Raps in here. And the papers. I went to the store last night. No. Almost. Hey, Carrie Hairwave. Welcome to the PSy TAi POdcast. She says, subjective is subjective. Yeah, subjective is subjective. And that thing would turn inside out so many times that you'll call a thing, and that thing is a duh, and then a did, and then a bit, and then blip, blip, blip.
It's the Tesseract. It's this self-referencing infinity. You're able to do that. You're able to go into an echo room.
Mm-hmm.
It's allowed.
Something gotta create that.
Yeah, all forms are allowed here. Well, I don't know, all forms, but like free will, I would say, is abounds here.
And within all those fractals of reality and subjective truths of reality, is realities playing out within those things. And that's what we're doing now, just playing out a memory, just playing out a subjective memory that's in a bigger bank. So it's like, compared to all the other things that's happening in all the multiverses, is highly subjective to the one experience, or to the person, the as Yuel famously put it, the you in the I verse is something, is to live out the memory and to come across things and to tie on it, just tying on it, just think about things, or tie in the feminine curve form, which is to just be, to experience, to flow. All right, so back to the Tesla. If you got any other questions or anything, carried away or statements, send them. Keep it interesting. Tesla, I have, let's keep going. Where was I at? Do you hear music? Okay, he was asking Einstein, do he hear the music? He needs to hear the music. Journalist, please tell me under what conditions angels adopt on Earth. I have 10 of them. Keep good records vigilant. I will document all your records. Yep. The first requirement is a high awareness of his mission and work to be done. It must, if only dimly, exist in the early days. What is he talking about? Let us not be falsely modest. Oak knows that. Let us be falsely modest. Oak knows that it is an oak tree, a bush beside him being a bush. When I was 12, I had been sure I would get to Niagara Falls. Hey, Blue. For most of my discoveries, I knew in my childhood that I would achieve them, although not entirely apparent. The second condition is to adapt. To adapt is determination. All that I might, I finish. Oh, he's talking about what we were saying earlier, Exile. Getting the vision and then working with the literally earthly conditions that's going on to make it happen. Because we all know the bush.
Complete that story.
Yeah, to complete the story, find your place in the story. And we the main character and the side character and the the person just thrown into other people's stories just for like 5 lines. Because they got their whole universe going on. You just popped in for like a good 5 lines and then popped out. They was like, oh, I prepared that whole role. I got to play the role for, and you know what I mean. Had to put all the makeup on and sit in the chair, and I got my spotlight.
It's on the what's that called? Your resume. It's on your resume though.
And he said, I'm journalist. What is the third condition of adjustment, Mr. Tesla? Tesla, guidance for all the vital and spiritual energies in labor. Therefore, purification of many effects and needs that man has. I therefore have not lost anything, but just gained. So I enjoyed every day and night. Write down, Tesla was a happy man. The fourth requirement is to adjust the physical assembly with a work. What do you mean, Mr. Tesla? First, the maintenance of the assembly. Man's body is a perfect machine. I know my circuit and what's good for him. Food, what nearly all people eat, to me is harmful and dangerous. Sometimes I visualize that chefs in the world are all in a conspiracy against me. I remember reading that part before. He was funny on that. Touch my hand. It was cold. Yes, bloodstream can be controlled and many processes in and around us. Why are you frightened, young man? It's a story. I think I did read this before. It's coming back now. Journalist. It is the story of Mark Twain wrote A Mysterious Stranger, that wonderful book of Satan, inspired by you. Tesla, the word useless. I was about to say the word useless. The word Lucifer is more charming, Mr. Twain likes to joke. As a child, I was once healed by reading his books when we met here and told him about it. He was so touched that he cried. He became friends and often came to my lab. Once requested me to show him a machine that by vibration provokes a feeling of bliss. It was one of those inventions for entertainment, what I sort of sometimes like to do. And they still carried on that work. It was this demonstration I was working. It was a neuroscientist, and her husband was more into the arts, and he liked to freestyle and stuff. So she would put magnets on his head or something, and she was describing in his prefrontal cortex. And
that's right.
Yeah, and it allowed him to, like, he said it seemed like he was able to free flow a lot more, get into that freestyle state that he was talking about. And
that's also Dan Winter's work.
Dan Winters?
Mm-hmm. The science of bliss, the physics of bliss, how we can measure it and put it on a graph and say, this is actually going on right now.
Oh,
you are magic. You are a magician.
Yo, this is cool. Where was I at? So I warned Mr. Twain not to remain under these vibrations. He did not listen and stayed longer. It ended by him running like a rocket, holding pants, darted into a certain room. It was diabolically funny, but I kept the seriousness. But to adjust the physical circuit in addition to food, dreaming, adjusting the physical circuit. So this all goes back to what we was tying on when I first turned on this podcast. physical circuit, in addition to food, dreaming is very important. From a long and exhausting work which requires superhuman effort, we're superhumans. After 1 hour of sleep, I'll be fully recovered. Oh, I gained the ability to manage sleep, to fall asleep and wake up in the time which I've designated. I remember working on that. If I do something what I do not understand, I force myself to think about it in my dream and thus find the solution. Shouts to Black Wolf, who's shout that out every single podcast. Ask a question before you go to sleep. Wake up, you got the answer. Tesla.
That's right.
Tesla, the fifth condition of adjustment is memory. Perhaps in most people, the brain is keeper of knowledge about the world and knowledge gained through the life. My brain is engaged in more important things than remembering. It is picking what is required at the given moment. This is all around us. It should only be consumed. Everything that we once saw, hear, read, and learned accompanies us in the form of light particles. To me, these particles are obedient and faithful. To the magician, which we are. Goethe's Faust, my favorite book, I learned by heart in German as a student, and now I can recite. I hold my inventions for years in my head, and only then I realized them. In my head.
Right.
I've been trying to change that word around too, that phrase.
They say the pyramids were built in the astral before they were built in the physical.
And I can't, no debate against that. Journalists, you often mention the power of visualization. Yes, that is the sixth requirement. I may have to thank visualization for all that I invented. The events in my life and my inventions are real in front of my eyes, visible as each occurrence or the item. In my youth, I was frightened of not knowing what it is, but later I learned to use this power as an exceptional talent and gift. I nurtured it and jealously guarded. I also made corrections by visualizations on most of my inventions and finished them that way. By visualizations, I mean mentally solve complex mathematical equations. For that gift I have, I will thank High Lama in Tibet. Ooh, the High Lama in Tibet. I wonder why he did that. Did he meet him one day?
I think he did.
What's that breadcrumb?
Yeah, and the book that he read, Goethe, Goethe, right? Goethe?
Yeah, that was
You
the
might
book.
say it differently. Because it's German, so you might say it differently.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting on the accent and rereading it, but I said no.
Deutsch. It's not German, it's Deutsch.
Yo, why can't I spell Tesla right now? I mean Nikola.
Nikola.
Thanks.
Captain Obvious.
No, I typed it in as you said it. I was like,
Oh.
I was like, oh, thanks. I just had my mind went
Self-deprecating.
to something else. See, this is what I gotta deal with. Her sisters are arguing right now. And one of her sisters goes through something where she had an accident, and now she goes through these like episodes and stuff like that. But now she keeps threatening her sister, and I'm like, the only one that's been able to calm it down been me. I'm trying to see what Jamina can do.
Go handle that if you need to. I understand. Totally understand.
Man, she has a. Yeah. She's working on stuff so that she can. We're giving her a home right now. So until she can like get her own place and stuff, but I don't really know what else we can really do but just be happy and be there and stuff. But trying to say you need to do this and do that, it don't really work with her. Cause she graduated from college and everything, then had a car accident and been changed up ever since. So when we talk about the brain and all this mental stuff and going on, I deal with a lot of people in my regular life now, where I'm kind of like the observer trying to see what's going on by analyzing what's going on in myself with different experiences that I had, but still knowing that other people got other experiences that I hope that I can understand. But
Right.
yeah, but it's just wild because it's only us out here, so I gotta king up and
Yes, sir.
just keep everything in check, because no family out here, just us. I took her on a walk yesterday. She was real. I just said, let's just go for a walk. We're just gonna walk, smoke, sit at a spot, and then walk back. And we just talking about business plans she had, and land she wanted to buy and stuff, and we just kept it like that.
I find balance through my breath. Even my own analyzation. Sometimes you can overanalyze and separate your body from your mind and forget about the earth chakra that's going on. We try to think our way through everything. Sometimes that thinking, you think yourself into that echo chamber. Sometimes. Sometimes you can put the puzzles together. But that physical act of breathing definitely helps me find my balance, returning some kind of like energy, like vibrant energy, like,
Yeah.
because when you're anxious, when you're worrisome, you're not secure. You feel like you have to do something. Something's got to be changed to be secure. Your security is lost and it can never be found again. Well, that's not true. It's not that the well is dry. It's just that your rope is broken.
You right about
So,
that?
definitely when somebody's so close to you, you want to extend them that olive branch and heal their wounds and put, coconut oil on their whatever it is, like help them, like wash their feet when they're dirty. Like you want to help those people because you know what it feels like to be in that situation. And you have the power, so it's like, hey, I can do this for you. I can, but
And sometimes, yeah, I know where you had. Sometimes that switch up.
sometimes also you can't break an egg from the outside and expect life to emerge.
Yep, that's a beautiful way to put it.
So for life to emerge from the egg, the egg's got to be broken from the inside. So we can warm the egg, right?
Yep.
We can warm the egg, and we can. So I don't know of another way to put it.
No, I know what you're saying. It got to come from within. Not gonna come from without. I understand that. Yeah, that's why I have that vibe that I have right now. That's why I said my center switches, but I'm still with the center. I'm still finding keeping with the center, even if it moves to another circle. Because I'm with that too. It's just more of my girlfriend. She's like, oh, it's my sister. It's nobody else that's going to help her. She already running away from the mom and stuff like that. And I'm the one that's like, I understand the mental states that's going on. And if I don't understand, I have a sense. And I understand that sometimes, like you said, you can't just whip out the coconut oil and say, here, take advantage of me.
Right.
Yeah, because that's what it would come down to, be taken advantage of. So the things had to be done in a way where communication is established so everybody can benefit the best while they're around each other. But yeah,
That's a beautiful way.
But that's what I mean by the things that I go through in this life, where I'm making moves where my mind be trying to get me to think about 5 things before I make one move. Because my moves that I'll be wanting to make be based off of how I feel. And when I'll be feeling things, I'll be wanting to make moves like then and there. And that's why I'm kinging up in a lot of different ways. Like, life's not going to always just be me sitting in a room with a podcast. It's going to be me sitting in another room probably with a podcast, or in my own house with a podcast, or something where I can control myself as best as I can so that I can then operate around other people, like have the fresh ideas and not think, oh man, I gotta kill myself for you. But no, I can live and exist with you and express with you.
Yeah, a just king walks among the peasants, so called.
Yeah. And the goddess is everywhere but nowhere.
That's right. Perfection is both impossible and happening in front of your eyes.
Yep. Just
Much love. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, bro. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this Nikola Tesla because Jamina got that, and then I'm gonna go handle that, and hopefully the sync is real and I'm right on time. Hold on 1 second. Hey, all y'all need to shut the fuck up and I gotta show y'all. Fucking up. I need to get back, or like I said, y'all can fuck out. I need to shut up and get this over with. Don't bring this to my house. And you did the same shit again. All right. Back to where I was at.
Yes, sir.
All right. Whew. Says, for I have that gift, I will thank the High Lama Tibet. My eyesight and hearing are perfect. Dare to say, stronger than other people. I hear the thunder of 150 miles away, and I see colors in the sky that others cannot see. This enlargement of vision and hearing I had as a child. Later, I consciously developed this, which is what we come in contact now a lot today. In the youth, I have several times been ill. Hey guys, I'm gonna go handle this. And
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna
much
come
love.
back. Much love to all of y'all. Really appreciate the time. You see, this is some strong building blocks we building for whatever's up next. But I'm happy that we all can participate. Tie always, and we all tie, but do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I really don't know. One love, exile. One love, exile.
Got you.